sauce. Wake up, grab your phone, good vibes everywhere. Ryder's got big muscles, Lisa's got the hair. You never know what they're gonna say, but there's a 45% chance you might like it anyway. It's the sauce, they're spilling it live for you. It's the sauce with your favorite morning crew. It's the sauce, 2 hours will fly by. They don't know what they're doing, but they're gonna try. It's the sauce.
Hey, it's Jackie, and I'm on the sauce with Ryder and Lisa.
I'm Andrea, and I'm on the sauce with Ryder and Lisa.
Hey, everybody, this is Joe Exotic, and I'm on the sauce with Ryder and Lisa.
Joe Exotic did not ghost us.
We were very worried, but we made it happen. So be prepared for Joe Exotic to join the sauce this morning. Welcome to the Sports Interaction Studio. Ryder, Lisa, we got producer Reese working very hard behind the scenes, and we have some epic guests today. So much to get to.
Including the Tiger King, Joe Exotic.
Yep.
And then we actually have a filmmaker who will probably have some very interesting insight on Tiger King in general as well, but also has an unbelievable 5-piece documentary coming out soon. And I can only say it's unbelievable based on everything else I've seen him produce and create thus far. So expectations are very high.
They are high, and I think we're going to be blown away no matter what when we see this. It's called The Great Ones, so you know. Like, I already have goosebumps even just saying the name of this documentary. So we're going to get to Adam Scorgie right away here. He's already here in the studio.
Yeah. Let's not even make him wait. Let's just get right to it.
Well, I just wanted to say a couple things before.
Okay.
We have to talk about the fact that there's rumors that Ryder and I are second cousins. We're going to be discussing that on the show, and we're going to be debunking those rumors, squashing the rumors and where they came from. We need to talk about AI-generated videos that are really starting to scare me because they look too real. We'll get to that. I'm wearing it's finally arrived, my heated rivalry
shirt.
Boston Raiders t-shirt. So really pumped about that.
And you said it's really comfy as well.
I haven't taken it off.
Feel free to slide into Lisa's DMs if you're looking for the link.
Yeah, I got it off Etsy.
Oh, it's
just from someone created it for me.
Sweet.
Okay, let's get to our first guest of the day.
Yes.
Is our first guest brought to you by?
No.
Really?
We're going in clean. Welcome to the studio, Adam Scorgie. You may know him from Ice Guardians, the story behind NHL Enforcers, Making Coco, the Grant Fuhr story, Inmate Number 1, The Rise of Danny Trejo, Tutu, most recently with the story of Jordan Tutu.
Wait, we also have the Biff Naked documentary. We
can't
forget that.
Documentary, yeah, that one seemed to have made some noise yesterday. I was looking up some of this stuff. And then next up, The Great Ones, a 5-part series of the Oilers' domination in the 80s. Welcome to the studio, my friend.
Thanks for having me. I'm pumped to be here. Lots to chat about.
Yeah, lots to chat about. We even had people in our YouTube chat being like, whoa. Let's not get too excited about Joe Exotic. Like, we have Adam Scorgie in the studio first.
Damn, I'm over Joe Exotic.
Let's not take anything away from that.
I will take it. Thank you, those in the audience. Yeah. I was like, I didn't even believe coming in here today. I was talking to Ryder and Lisa. I'm like, you talking about like Joe Exotic from Tiger King? They're like, yeah, we had him. I thought maybe somebody else was using that name. So
that's the common question. People are like, are you sure it's him, or is it like AI? Is someone pranking you? Are they?
It was definitely him.
Yeah.
And it is coming up.
Well, I'm sure after you guys talk to him for 5 seconds, you're like, oh, that's the guy.
That's
we
the
watched
guy.
That train wreck. Yeah. That series, like we were talking about this before we were on air, is that, you know, it's a crazy series from a production standpoint, because I was watching it. I like a lot of times now when I do a project, if I'm not passionate about the subject matter, I don't want to dive in, because it's a few years of your life, whatever project. And it, and unscripted, I think, not to take away from scripted material, but because you're dealing with real stories and people are sharing their souls in it, it's very personal, and you go on this journey with them. And I was watching that train wreck when it was on. I was like, I would never follow these guys for several years. Like, I would lose my mind. Like, no way could I just be in that madness. It had to have affected the crew. I looked a lot. I noticed right away just because I saw the age difference in the interviews and how different some of them were. I'm like, whoa, this is really pieced together over many years. How they put this together. Because the big one, the dead giveaway was the girl that like has both her arms, and then the tiger ripped her arm off. I'm like, whoa, she lost her arm during production.
And then all of a sudden, when she's getting interviewed again, her arm's completely healed.
Yeah, no, her arm's there because they're using just different pieces. And I was like, okay, they did this over years. And although it was a giant success, I'm sure the producers, with how many years that took, didn't even come close to recouping. Like, I'm sure after selling it, once they did the scripted version, everything, they made their money. But docs are hard. Like, that was, I think, when they said from start to finish, and the footage burned, and then they used other stuff, like, it was like a 10-year process. Like,
my goodness.
Same with like Making of a Murderer was like a decade, right?
Yeah.
10 years to put these things together. Yeah.
If you put in a couple years following the people in that show, like, you'd at least have a 1 foot long ponytail by the time you were done.
Oh yeah, you'd have a pet
that.
snake.
You would have some emotional and probably physical scars, I think.
Yeah. Missing an arm, maybe.
So Adam, you've been on some pretty well-known podcasts. You've been on Joe Rogan's podcast not once, but twice.
Yeah, I'm a 2-time visitor of Joe Rogan. But I worked with Joe lots early in his career, long before he had his podcast, right? He was in my very first film, The Union, The Business Behind Getting High. I think that's where a lot of people saw Joe for the first time outside of, because at that time, he was only really known for Fear Factor.
That's right.
And the UFC.
Right.
Yeah.
Very few people were like, oh, he was on news radio too, or he was a comedian. They didn't really know. So I remember, like, when we were doing the festival circuit with that, people really saw Joe in a different way because he offered those punchy, funny, like, comedians are great interviews, right? Because when you have them talking about cultural things, they can add that humor. Starts like, he had a line that there was like people making shirts and stuff. It's like, let's nerf the world, because talking about if you can abuse something, referring to cannabis, he's like, you can abuse cheeseburgers too, right? We don't go shutting down Burger King just because you can abuse something. He's like, I take a fucking fork and I jab it in my eye. Should we outlaw forks? Let's nerf the world, right? I could jump off a bridge. And like, I remember every time it was in a theater, everybody would laugh there, right?
Yeah.
So it was like, you could just, he added this energy because you had all these scientists and doctors and politicians, and then you'd have him come in for that entertainment factor, which you're always trying to do in a doc because it is entertainment, right? So you're being factual and you're staying true to the story, but you also have to have those emotional connections, right? So humor's good, emotion's good. You have to have that. That's just what always makes it challenging. You can't, if you just made it like a historical doc, right? And we'll dive into the great ones. If we just went statistics and numbers, it'd be pretty boring.
Yep.
So if you're a diehard Oilers fan, and Wayne got this many goals, and then we went. So you have to find those arcs, and that's where our director, he wrote out the 5 episodes to the minute of like who he anticipated getting these interviews with. And then he looked at the cultural things going on at the time, both provincially and federally, for like Canada as a country, what we were going through as far as like, was there a recession? Was there this? So that you always have that hero and villain of every episode of what the team was struggling with, but what like Canada, its identity was struggling with, and how the Oilers really, and I'm not saying this because I'm an Oilers fan, but no team impacted hockey the way that dynasty team did.
That's right.
That is the team that put hockey on the map and changed the way. In fact, we interviewed Peter Pocklington not too long ago, which is a crazy interview.
Oh my gosh.
I would imagine.
Oh, it's so cool because I think people are really going to get in the doc. They're going to really have a soft spot for him, although like the iconic trade or selling of Gretzky, right, is really for a cash deal, which you never do today, right? But he's like, I couldn't afford it. He's like, he was a very hands-on owner. I don't know if you guys have heard the stories, but he would come down with a bag of carrots, and there'd be like $100,000 in there, and he'd be like, if you guys win tonight, you guys get to split that, right? You have to win tonight. And he's like, I built these players up to wanting to believe that they were the best player, or that helping them to believe with Slather that they were the best players in the world. And rightfully so, after they won 3 Stanley Cups, they're like, well, pay us like that then, right? And he's like, but we're a small market team. He's like, I couldn't, right? He's like, either I'd have to make tickets astronomically high, or like, he's like, TV deals at that time were $1 million. He's like, that wasn't paying salaries. So ultimately, it was coming. Like, we're lucky that we held on to the team for as long as we did with all those great players in this small market, and really made Edmonton, which is the most largest northern metropolis in North America, had this dynasty team that really it shouldn't have had.
Well, and it's interesting that I wonder how much that lessened the blow, the fact that they won the year after Gretzky was sold, because I think like people would have been incredibly angry had they had to dive directly into a rebuild after the Gretzky deal. but they put it together for one more run. I don't know. It just kind of felt like a...
Well, this is also why we call it the Great Ones, is because Wayne never won after he left, right?
Right.
Broke a whole bunch of records, but he didn't win again. Several of the Great Ones won here again, right? Messier, Kevin Lowe, Anderson, and then they did it again in New York.
That's right.
Where a lot of them were brought together again and won again. So that's why it's been interesting, so interesting doing the interviews for this, because it really feels so much bigger than a hockey story or a story about the Oilers. It's really a huge part of Canada's history, as well as the history of hockey, because Pocklington took the boys on a tour in the United States to promote hockey when Gretzky was at the heyday and Messier, and they were the team and they were the cover of Sports Illustrated, and all those places that they did this tour, Dallas, outside of California, LA, Florida, is all where they have teams now, right? And people are like, yeah, that is where I first heard about hockey, is when this dynasty team went there and came, and people were like, yeah, I remember getting a puck when they came and did that. And, as much as it sucked that Edmonton got rid of Wayne, those LA teams, the California teams, would not be there, right? It was the best thing for hockey that he left and promoted the game.
Interesting. Right. Yeah, I do a show on Sirius XM. It's the 70s on 7 channel, and I go out of my way to, I don't try and focus on it too much, but I'll sprinkle in McDavid being like the best player in the world right now, and I'll reference Wayne Gretzky, and the amount of emails that I get from people that were around in the 70s that are still just now discovering hockey, and they'll reference Wayne Gretzky, but that's pretty much it.
He's the only, I can tell you from like a Hollywood perspective, when you go to Netflix and the big buyers in the state, there's only one name in hockey that transcends the sport, and that's Wayne. Like, I could say to Netflix Sidney Crosby, and I bet you 8 out of 10 would be like, who's that?
Yep.
Same with Connor McDavid. Same with even Bobby Orr, who's he is the only one that transcended the sport where everybody knows him. Like, even people in like Africa that don't know, they're like, I know Wayne Gretzky.
Yeah.
Right? Like, and we're finding all those great old clips. And the other reason why, there's really only one dynasty that can do this. And again, for all those people around here, like, whatever, the Islanders and this, I'm not taking away any of those teams, but the NHL is notoriously bad for keeping an archive. And the Oilers had the foresight with Aquila and Don Metz back in the day, and being a small market that the team was everything here. There's an archive. There's footage, CTV. There's all this stuff for the guys. And because they were more approachable and you can connect with them, they're like, we're going through this stuff. Plus, you have Boys on the Bus where they followed him for 2 years on film, right? Which film we can up-res to 4K, right? And there's a ton that they didn't use because they followed them the first year and they lost. The Islanders, then they followed him again the next year when they won.
Right.
So they were like, oh, well, this season's a fold, right? So but there's all this great stuff of them in that era. So when you're going through it, you're really looking, you're like, oh my God, is this? We had a good call with ESPN just before the holidays. And, when you're pitching, you're always making references to other things because the suits, as we say, don't see it. So you have to say, look, this is like the last dance of hockey, right? And they're like, okay, we get it. And ESPN said a great quote, which I agree. They said, everybody tries to make a comparison to The Last Dance. I think you guys are the first one that can, because you actually have an archive that does it.
Perfect.
Like, for example, we have a photo. Did you know that the Oilers are the ones that got the bodyguard for the cup? It was because of the Oilers.
No.
So there's so many impacts that the Oilers did that affected the entire league. So when you get the cup, right, and everybody gets it for a day. Well, the Oilers misplaced it for a week, right? No one, and the league was like, "Hey, who's got it?" And they're like, "Oh, I think it's in so and so. I think it's in so and so."
You can't lose
in one of the
that.
players' trunks, right? And they forgot it in there.
I think
right?
I do remember hearing this story.
I've never heard
it was after that year that they said, "Okay, everybody gets their day, but there's going to be a bodyguard." Right? And I've experienced that with my buddy Eric Goddard, who won with the Pittsburgh Penguins. When he had it at his house, like, because a lot of guys want to sleep with it, like the wives or their girlfriends were like, we want to sleep with the cup at the house. The guy's like, okay, where's my room? Because I stay at the house with it. Like, if you're sleeping with it, or if you're having it at your hotel, he's in the room right next door to make sure it doesn't disappear.
Whoa, that's awesome.
The Oilers also, the Oilers also broke the cup. They were at a fine gentleman's club here in town. It's not around anymore.
Name drop it.
And it broke, and they took it to an auto body shop to fix it. And we got a photo of it in pieces, and they're putting it back together.
No way.
Yeah, they were animals for a few years.
There is more history around and you don't have to be an Oilers fan, as you will just see how this team, because we've interviewed I think at this point, like 12 Hall of Famers. We've interviewed Stevie Yzerman because he was early in his career as they were coming. We're interviewing Brett Hall, Brian Trottier, like all the different perspectives of what it was like to play the team. And we knew they were coming. And it has been fascinating to go through it. It is like you think you know stuff. And look, one of my producing partners, Shane Fennessy, is Kevin Lowe's son, right? So we have a real inside track. But even our director's done so much research and found so much. Like we interview some of these guys, and like, where did you hear that? And we're like, it's in your book, or it's in your, like, they're like, damn, like the research. It is. I have no doubt it will be the pinnacle of hockey series. Like after this, people will always strive if they're doing something with hockey. Like we want it to be like the great ones. Like from the way we're shooting it, we're shooting it super cinematic. Like like the best docs that have been out there. I don't know if anybody's seen America's Team.
I haven't.
It came out on the Cowboys, and it's phenomenal. Like the opening shots looks like Apocalypse Now. It's shot like a cinematic film. It's all about the Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah.
But we're shooting it at that level where it's the cinematography would be brilliant. We've got incredible, unprecedented archive, and then just the access and the players. They're at the right time. They want to talk about it, right? They're long retired, and what they all have said, which is the director's piece, is why we called it the Great Ones. Is everyone usually fixates on one or two players, right? But hockey's the ultimate team game. You don't win with one or two players.
Or else we'd have 3 cups already.
Yeah.
Like,
we'd have like 5 more, right? We got 2 of the best players. It is a team game. And that's what so many of the guys are like, you got to interview Hunter and you got to interview this guy. And we're like, already did. And they're like, oh my God, thank you that you're actually interviewing the entire team. Like Sparky, the equipment manager, and
exactly.
Barry Stafford,
all
and
these people are working.
All these people that led to that dynasty team becoming what it was.
It did seem like there was like a true boys club there. Like they still talk about each other like they're family.
That is very interesting in talking to the players, is that a lot of them, when they left, like if they started with the Oilers, they were like, oh, this is what it's like. And then they went to other teams where it was not very family oriented, and it was very about individual and stats. And they're like, man, this culture
more competitive
sucks. Right? Like they're like, what Sather had created, the blueprint there, and what had come together. There's a lot of things that just seem to come together right for the team. And it is incredible to see it all. It seems so much more than just Oilers history. It's like Canada's history, how it came. And you realize like Pocklington was like, he was such a cowboy. It's like all the owners back then were cowboys. The league was like, they were like the NHL was struggling to stay alive, and they were doing, did you know, we found this out. Did you know that the owner of the Toronto Maple Leafs and Pocklington almost just traded teams? Pocklington was sick of the Oilers, and Leafs were like, oh, we'll just trade teams. Like they were like I
the
think
full roster?
Yeah, they were just going to trade ownership.
Gosh.
Oh.
They were just going to say, you take it. Like the values were the same. They were just like, I'm sick of this team and I'm sick of, they were just going to say, okay, we swap. They were very close to doing it. Like we found a whole bunch of things. We're like, what? How is that even possible? Back then, like the league didn't have all the rules and the way it is just a different world, right? And Sather was able to be the GM, the coach, and like negotiate player contracts and stuff. You can't do that now,
right?
Like it's different.
Yeah.
So who are you working on this project with? Because I'm pretty sure there's some heavy hitters that you were sitting beside.
Yeah. So we partnered with Ryan Reynolds and Maxim Effort, obviously after the success of, Welcome to Wrexham and Deadpool, one of the biggest companies in the world, and then partnered with the Oilers directly for that archive and that access, right? To make sure we're always striving to do something, not to take away any of our previous work, but we want to go bigger, better. And we've got a really good foothold in NHL stories with Tutu, Making Coco, Ice Guardians. So yeah, I've been looking for a way to try to work with Ryan and his team, and found this and made it a no-brainer. So we're just trying to line up when his interview is going to happen, because obviously with like stuff like that, you have to plan months ahead, and then you're like, okay, you got this hour on this Friday, come get it done.
Yeah, no kidding. As a lifelong Oilers fan, like, does it get any better than this, being able to sink your teeth into something like this?
Are you a kid in a candy store at all time?
Oh,
Are you
every
giddy?
time yes, absolutely. It's often, my job now many days feels like, when we're on set, right? There's lots of unmagical part of filmmaking,
of
the
course,
paperwork and the tax credits and all that miserable stuff. But when you're on production, it is what keeps you going. Like, it is so cool to sit there and hear these stories. And again, it's like the right time because people are really speaking about it. Like the players have a good chance to reflect and really appreciate. Because sometimes when you're in it and you want to win and you want to break records,
Yeah, you're locked in.
so locked in, you're not thinking about it. And now the years have passed, they can go back and even just be more open about like, yeah, you know, it wouldn't be socially acceptable now the way we partied and did this. And it's like, that part's nice too, where they're comfortable to be like, hey, I did my mistakes when I was younger. I was a young man. We're in our mid-20s. We're a dynasty team. We're in the cover of Sports Illustrated.
Yeah.
It is truly a dream come true to be able to tell these stories and bring them to the big screen.
Well, in that age range, if you want to have a good conversation with a guy, like find a guy around the age of those players now, because they
just want to talk about the good old days.
They don't give a shit about a lot of stuff anymore.
Yeah.
But
you guys must
they've also
experience
learned
that.
a lot of
Yeah.
it always seems to be a great interview picking the brain out of somebody in kind of that pocket.
Who can we expect to see in this documentary? Like, what are some of the interviews that you're like, oh my gosh, I can't wait for people to hear from this person or this person or this person?
It's hard to go through. I mean, all the legends. We haven't done them yet, but I know he's on the list. Is like Brett Hall is always fantastic. I don't know if you guys have been watching their podcast now,
Yeah,
Kelly
yeah.
Chase, because Brett Hall is one of those rare Hall of Famers that he doesn't care.
He didn't care from the age
No,
of...
he will
Yeah.
he will say how it is. He will talk about how remarkable things are. He will go on. So he will be fascinating. But I mean, like Stevie Yzerman, Kevin Lowe was great. Like, it's hard to pick favorites on this because there's ones that shock you. Pocklington really moved me because like I'd only kind of heard about him as a kid and like, you know, when they were hanging nooses of him when he traded.
Yeah.
But I found at the end, like I really was like, man, he was a hustler trying to keep this team together, and he did what he could, and ultimately he had to make the trade. He's like, I couldn't afford to keep these guys together. And he said something pretty cool where he's like, the one thing I do regret though is when he called Wayne a young man, or right, he said that when he was crying in the press conference, I should have just hugged him and said I'm sorry.
Right.
But like I was a businessman, and it's funny, a lot of people around Pocklington, they're like, oh, if you would have just stayed with the hockey thing, right? But he was such a like Wheeler and Dree was getting involved, and a lot of other things
What's
didn't
next?
work.
What's
Right.
next?
He was moving things like his was great. We're still planning to do Bruce McNall. We're trying to get who brought Wayne over, and he was one, you know the story, right? Where when they're like they'd never trade me, and he put it on speakerphone so that Wayne could hear that Pocklington was talking about them. Okay, so
That's
maybe
so dramatic.
There's like, there are so many things that like people don't, and a thing we discovered that like nobody knew is that they were seriously looking at trading Wayne to Detroit,
Okay.
and it was Wayne's dad, Walter, that said, "Why would you do that?" He said, "Gordie Howe's your favorite player. You're going to overshadow him if you go there and break all the records." And he's like, and two, Detroit's an original 6 team. That doesn't help the league if you go there. Go to LA where you can grow the game.
And like I look back at Pro Stars. Do you remember
All that-
the cartoon and like Serial? He was everywhere.
Everywhere, soap operas. We got
Soap
all those
operas,
clips.
baby.
It's like
Young
there's
and the
more
Restless.
footage. Yeah, he was on everything. Like he's the only guy that broke. And it was Bruce McNall had a lot to do with that because he brought him into LA at the time, and that's when like you had Goldie Hawn and Kurt Russell. That's what like got them into hockey. You had Sylvester Stallone. People were like, everybody wants to see greatness, right?
Yeah,
so
yeah.
when you hear about this, people are like, oh, I want to see this Gretzky guy, right? Like him going to LA was what was best for hockey. To be honest.
Interesting.
As much as an Oiler fan, I would love to come because everybody says if he would have stayed, they would have won another 5 cups.
Right.
Like we would have been one of the greatest dynasties, if not already considered. So but it was, if you're looking what's good for the game is great. Was what was best for the game.
It kind of sucks because I would have been 8 years old when they won their last cup, and I don't have a ton of memories from it. I remember the vibes of like
Your parents cheering and everything.
there was some hype, but I just wasn't into it yet.
Yeah.
And then like 2 or 3 years later, I'm like a hockey kid, loving it, sitting down watching every game with my legs crossed in front of the TV, staying up past bedtime to watch overtimes. And I just can't imagine how awesome that would have been to be in that. So, like, if they could have kept that damn team together, that would have been the pocket.
We have footage of a parade, and I don't know the estimates. It's hard to get, but it looks like there's 200,000 people there. Like, and if you think at the time Edmonton was only 600,000 people,
Yeah.
you had almost half the city out to like
Unbelievable.
Like there is a culture that's also something we can all attest to. And you heard even like Evander Kane and stuff talk about it. There's nothing like Edmonton for the culture and the support of the team.
Right.
Like it can also get negative at times, to get overcritical,
Yep.
but the passion we have for it, like when the Oilers win in the playoffs, it's like people are buying your coffee in front of you. Like
Yep.
the whole city is up.
No, we remember the vibes, and we embraced it. And I remember when we were doing our old morning show, it was during the playoffs. We were deep into it, and we got emotional on air. We looked at each other. We were like, we all need to take a moment and soak this in, because we're so lucky to be here and to be experiencing this. And the vibe of the city was next level. I had never felt anything like it. The air was different.
It's hard to explain, and we're really trying to capture that essence, that the city itself is a character, right? And there is no other. It's like the Green Bay of hockey, right? Like we care about hockey more. And like when they lose one, it was like you go through the drive-through and like the person helping you is like, what do you want? You're like, whoa, I know the Oilers lost, but like, can I help you is typically how this goes.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
Like,
the difference of the vibes on like the text line at the old show.
I would be interested,
Yeah.
and we'll dive in. I'd be interested to see if like violence goes up or down, or like grumpiness or household arguments. And stuff.
Totally.
Like I'm sure there's
For
a
sure.
percentage. Like I know with Manny Pacquiao, we filmed him when he was at the height of boxing. In the Philippines, traffic would go down by 30% when he was fighting, because the whole nation would watch him.
Yeah.
I would not be surprised if there's some crazy stats in
Yep.
Edmonton. It was like after a win, it's like we know sales and stuff goes through. The
Well,
roof,
and
right?
Costco's dead.
Yeah.
Nobody like you.
The one time, that's the time to go to Costco, eh? So there's a playoff game.
I remember
Literally.
that picture went viral last year. I was going to bring that up too. And like empty Costco.
Yeah.
Empty.
Unbelievable. If you do not care about sports, that's when you should go.
The only
My
people.
wife and I like like I love Costco, but I hate the lineup.
Yeah.
So I guess I just have to sacrifice.
You might have to
Babe, will you
PVR.
go? Because I gotta
Yeah.
watch the game.
Yeah.
Right? I gotta-
Unless you're
my team
PVR.
wins when I'm watching.
PVR the game.
Exactly.
Go to Costco, come home with all your food and watch the game.
We had somebody in the chat just asking quickly if you can let people know, where can they find your previous work?
Oh, so most of it is available on iTunes and like any of the TVOD platforms.
Okay,
right? Like
perfect.
Netflix is a lot of them had Netflix licenses, because typically I finance them out of Canada. Work with Super Channel, right here out of, they're the only West Coast broadcaster, right? Owned by the Allard family. They've been without them, I wouldn't have a career. That's a big reason. One of the big reasons I moved to Edmonton is because Super Channel's been just so supportive over the years. So definitely Super Channel is where you, a lot of it, like Tutu and Biff are on Super Channel right now, which you can get through Amazon. You can get the free month. Check it out. Check out both the docs, and
Sweet.
you could unsubscribe after that. I do recommend. I know it's a sales pitch. Everybody's trying to. No one wants to add more subscribers, but Super Channel is the only independent broadcaster left in Canada that isn't like, CBC or Bell or
lots of
Telecommunications, right?
content. Content on
and
there.
they support indie filmmakers better than anybody else.
Yeah.
Cool.
Like truly, if you can bundle them in with your Amazons, $9, I would get it, because I think they have great content and they really do support, especially my team. I make all my team. Something we started is when they come to work on one of our productions, I'm like, do you have Super Channel? Like, no. I'm like, you're buying it tonight, and then you can
Perfect.
send me the bill and
Yep.
stipend it, because
Sure.
we're supporting an Alberta company, an Alberta family that started that, and you can't work on a production that that you don't have the product for. So you can get most of the stuff there. If you Google, they're almost all on. If they're not there, all my stuff that's ended its licenses are on iTunes, Amazon, all those different ones.
I mean, if this is the first time that you've seen Adam here, I mean, the chat just loves you. You're just incredible what you do and full of information, and support the local arts communities, support the local production companies here in Alberta. They need your support. They want your support. We got somebody in the chat here that said that they remember they tracked water usage during intermission.
Really?
Like how many people were flushing toilets?
No, running to the bathroom probably because they
yeah.
want to hold it, right?
Yeah,
They're like,
yeah.
oh, I don't want to go. They might score. Like, because even though you got all the replays now, there's
you wanna
nothing when you're
watch it
watching the way
live.
when you see, especially McDavid right now. Edmonton's so lucky to have him.
Yes.
And the way he moves on the, like, if he would have been in the 80s, he would have got 500 points a year, right? With his speed and the way he moves. You just watch him at times, the brilliance he can deliver. It's like you feel you're watching magic at times. The way he can
And it
move
happens so
do it.
fast too that it's like you got to remember to watch the replay slowed down.
Yeah.
Soak it in, because he'll do something fast and then it's like you move on to the
So
next.
you know the heartbreak, and you want to talk about how different the culture differs. So we were in Florida for Game 7, not this last year, the year before.
Yeah.
We were working with the Oilers, and we were filming there, and we had like Darnell Nurse's family mic'd up. We had Ekholm's family mic'd up, and that was one of the hardest things, to go back to all of them and get the microphone after we lost. We kept thinking, we're down 2-1. We're like, oh, we're going to pull this out. We're going to
Yeah.
score. Bouchard hit the post in that one power play,
Oh,
and it was like
right near the end too.
right, you're like,
so
oh, it's going to happen.
close.
It's going to happen. And then just when it ended, you're like, I was like, no, there's 5 minutes or something, right? Like, I remember being like, wow, I've been a fan since the 80s. I've never got to experience though. I remember looking back and my parents cheering, but I'm here, I'm filming. Like, we're going to go to the after party of these guys and film. Like, we're going to be right there.
Oh man!
And then it was
So
taken
tough.
away, and you left the arena, and you could not. No one knew that they won. There wasn't even a banner. We were
Right.
staying right downtown. Nothing. There was
Imagine the
nothing.
chaos of walking out of Rogers Place right now with a
It was
win.
so. And one thing that I never get on the social banter because it's just so negative and miserable these days. But when people were trying to say Connor didn't come out to like whatever get the thing, and
Yeah.
do you know when he stood there and fist bumped everybody there, and all the Florida fans are throwing those stupid rubber rats at him and stuff, right? Like, and he just stood there and made sure everyone like thank you, hug, and then didn't want to go out and take the selfish individual trophy.
Yeah,
Like,
he wanted to be there with
give
his
me a
team.
break.
It
I
was
like,
if he wasn't the captain, I probably would have hoped that he would have went and got it. But I liked it as a captain. move.
I appreciated
he's
it.
he's
Stay with
it
his
is
crew.
more- for those that know him, they know that like his individual stats, like of course, as a human you care, but he doesn't really care. There's one stat he wants, and
Yeah.
it's the Stanley Cup.
It's the
That
cup.
is the one he wants. And look at what he did. What a classy and like just gangster move that he did to stay here. Like,
Yeah.
but now the pressure's on.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah,
Because if he leaves after that, I wouldn't even fault him.
No.
Right? Being
No,
like,
totally.
He gave us our
I-
chance. Yeah.
He's not giving a chance. Conservatively, they're saying he gave up $5 million a year to $8 million a year,
Right.
to make that happen.
Lauren's like, I guess I'll open 3 more businesses.
Yeah. Like he gave the city and the organization every opportunity to do it. So if at the end of that they don't win and he wants to leave, he gave us 13 years of magic, and like how I'd love it. I'd be like, dude, you gave the team every opportunity
100%.
to do it. Like,
Do you find as you were digging deep into the 80s dynasty team and looking at the team now, did you find that there was like more comparables than you were expecting, or more differences maybe than you were expecting? Because like you look at, you have your Gretzky, you got your McDavid, you got your Messier, you got your Draisaitl, you got your Bouchard. Like there's a
coffee,
ton
right?
of
Yeah.
comparables there.
Ton of comparables, and you see the culture now. Like, I mean, you see all the photos and stuff. McDavid and Draisaitl are like best friends, right?
Uh-huh.
Wives are best
Yeah,
friends.
yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
So there's definitely, you see a lot of the compare. The big difference that you're seeing, and maybe this is what it's going to take to find those pieces to win, is the grit. It was a different game too, right? So the toughness and grit that you needed back then that's the big part. Is that you had a lot of character players like Lumley, Semenko, McClellan, that these guys, that all the players talk about how key these guys were. Like
Right.
McClellan got the one overtime goal in the 1-0 game. Like,
Yeah.
you had some of these key character guys come up, and that's why all of them are like, I know the Stars got the bulk of the points, but there's some key games where character guys won the game, right? Like they were the missing piece.
Yeah.
And they're all just so thankful to be on that team. Like, there is much more to answer your question. Short answer, there's a lot of comparables, but it's also a different game too, right?
Well, and I wonder
The biggest thing I think that's just different with all sports, and hockey is just one of them, but is just when people played back then, it wasn't about the money. A lot of them didn't make a lot of money. They just loved it.
Yeah.
Like, and I remember this from interviewing Grant Fuhrer for Making Coco, and we're like, Grant, you had won 3 Stanley Cups, you're a Vezina Trophy winner, and you're getting paid $100,000 a year. We listed 5 goalies, never heard of any of them. They were making $400,000 to $500,000 a year, and honestly, I was like, who are these guys? And Grant looked at us so sweet and so honest. He goes, but I was on the best team in the world. Like, I would have played for free. He's like, in fact, I was getting paid. It was
love
like
that.
a bonus, but that's how much he loved the game,
Right.
right? Like the players now, and I wouldn't say generally, I haven't talked to enough of the Oilers or got to know them like the older players, but there just was a love of sport. Like when you did sports back then, you weren't expecting endorsement deals and all this money. You
Right.
did it because you loved it. You're like, that's my first. A lot of them even had like, Grant says it perfectly in his interview. He said this for the great ones, is that, my original marriage didn't work because I was married to hockey.
Yeah.
Like I was so committed to doing that. That was that my marriage kind of took a back seat, and like realizing that now, but that's how committed and how much you love the game to get there, right? So
Yeah, and like you said, it's all sports. Look at the difference in curling. Like what athletes that used to win gold medals.
Yeah.
They were smoking right before getting out there, eating 6 cheeseburgers. Now they're like in the gym. They're doing HIIT workouts.
Yeah, these are like some of the most fit people I've ever seen. Now.
crazy.
no, now
But it's
so
big business.
I have a great story too about that. One, we'll go with the Oilers first. So Dave Semenko, so sad that he's not going to be involved in this and he passed because
Yeah.
I literally don't think there's been an interview that his name doesn't come up 5 or 6 times. You want to talk about one of the most integral players that didn't get, and all the players will tell you, Sammy. You hear him all the time, not just for the toughness and the protecting role and everything that he did, but just the humor and what he brought off. Like he really helped that culture. Sammy's name, it's so sad he's not, but we talked when they were trying to institute a bit more health, and in the summer he's like, hey guys, instead of like back then you used to come to training camp to get in shape for the games, right? He like Sammy's like, yeah, Sather called him and there's this joke that he has and he's like, hey, so how the workouts going? He's like, yeah, these aren't really working for me. And he's like, why? He's like, well, I keep having a tough time keeping my cigarette lit while I'm riding the bike or trying to run or trying to do this, like, because he smoked, right? They had like a lot of and I heard a great talk from Trevor Linden that talked about just how the league changed from when he entered the league to when he ended. And he's like, when I started as a rookie in Vancouver, he's like, after a game, they'd bring in a tub of beer. And he's like, and the real healthy guys would have a Coors Light, right? They're like, oh. He's like, but you'd have 5 or 6 players smoking by the hallway while the coach was giving the thing. They would be smoking. He's like, by the end of my career in Vancouver, he's like, nobody was smoking, right?
Right.
There's no beer coming in unless you guys went on like a 5-game win streak and you guys went out. That was not supplied by the team.
Right.
It was Gatorades, electrolytes. You had sleep doctors coming in. Blood tests were being done to see if your mineral count was right. He's like, it came from just like guys loving to play a sport to an international professional business within his career, within the 2 decades he played.
That's wild, hey?
Yeah.
The, what was I going to say? There was, a picture of Ryan Getzlaf. And I know, like, the game obviously changed a lot from the time he entered the game to the time he left. You ever see the video of him when, like, Zegras and I forget who else were, like, tapping each other in the cans with their sticks to get ready for the game? And they just looked like they were, like, kids ready to go and play in a park.
Yeah.
And Getzlaf's in the background just looking like he'd been through it. And he had. What a great career.
Yeah.
But to see him be like, I think it might be time for me to move on. Because it almost became a little too
It's
Hollywood.
getting younger and younger in
Yeah.
fast game. Like you have a lot of those guys and you feel it. I hear it from, and I don't know, I haven't looked at the analytics of this hard enough, but you hear it from a lot of the older players. Like even I was with Pronger not too long ago, and Pronger's like, I can't stand how soft defensemen are now. Like when you came in those back corners with Pronger's like, you better be ready to die because I'm gonna take your head off, right? As well as like, he's like, so I don't know. There does seem to be patch. Like now they all train in the summer and they're buddies and they're like high fiving each other in games and stuff, and you're kind of like, man, that's your rival. I think you should wait till after the game to maybe high five each other. Like it's become a little corporate. You hear a lot of guys talking. And again, we have magic where, we were in Boston because we filmed Cam Neely, who was awesome. And we interviewed Ray Bork and talking about those rivals. Cam Neely was awesome because he let out some F-bombs. He's like, the rivalries back then, like they fucking hated each other.
Yeah.
Right? Like, the Flames and the Oilers, it took decades for them to talk in like golf courses afterwards and stuff because everyone we interviewed from that team is like, sorry, can I swear on this thing? We're like, yep, streaming. They're like, we fucking hated the Oilers. We hated them. We're like, that was do or die. Like, and every year, like the Flames had amazing teams, but they had to get through the Oilers to get through the Smythe division, right? So they hated them. They're like, every time we could have won, many of those times we would have probably challenged for a cup, but we had to play the Oilers.
And then look what happened when they did get through.
But that's Al McInnes talks about that. He's like, I remember it so clearly when the years, like I was in the car and they announced Wayne Gretzky trade, and right away I was like, we might actually win. We might actually win.
Wild.
It's interesting. Like I go to my nephew's sports games. My niece is in Ringette, and even at that young of an age, you're seeing that rivalry kind of mentality coming back in full force. Like off the ice with the parents, it can get pretty intense. You know this. You got kids in sports.
That is the parents, the corporate, and that is where it's going instead of being with the kids. It's like, and hockey, I'm really worried. You saw this kind of come up after the World Juniors here recently when people were saying, man, this team just didn't seem to have heart, like tons of skill. Hockey scares me because I saw this with my daughter, and I don't know the boys' game super well, but it's all about academies. And like hockey was a privileged sport before.
Yeah.
And my God, is it a privileged sport now?
And the amount of even time spent with practice during the week. I'm like, how do parents have time to do anything?
Oh, that's where. So as soon as my daughter turned 16, she failed her written like 3 times and failed the actual test like 5 times. She still had her license within 2 weeks. We married. You're going the next day, and then I remember
So
talking
you can
to
drive yourself.
Oh
to
yeah,
the
because
rink.
they go every day.
Yeah, I
And
cannot do this
And then
anymore.
they tell you like once they hit that elite level, they're like, oh, there's no more dual sports. Like you're committed to here, or you're getting
Right.
So like you hear every article is like, don't do that. Don't specialize your kid. But as soon as they hit U15, it's like, well, if you're either committed to here, or you're going to barely play.
Right.
And then the business of it, these academies, they want 30 to, depending on which one, like the local ones here, you go OHA or Rink. Rink wants $40,000 a year for high school from 10, 11, 12. OHA here, or NAX, like just by the airport there, and I can't think of the town there, Devon.
Devon, yeah.
They want $30,000 a year for high school for your kid to go. And the AAA programs, like you have the Junior Oilers and the Slash, and they compete. But even when my daughter started, I think they were around 10. Then they moved to 11. Now they're sitting around 15 per year for them to go.
Well, and like you said, the time commitment, you look at how many people, like how hard the average person would have to work to be able to afford that. Then how do you get them to the games?
Yeah.
Like, because you're working 3 jobs to try to pay for this.
Thankfully, groceries can get delivered to your door now.
Yeah,
that
that's-
saves you 2 hours.
Yeah, that's what we just, my wife and I would be like, what are we doing for dinner? I'm like, I think it's Tim Hortons. 'Cause you have to stop here and go there. Like
It's a drive-through.
It's drive-through. It is hard. Like that part makes me sad. And, you know, it is only the most privileged. So like to find Jordan Tutu is a perfect example of that. He hates the academies because
Okay.
he's like, you'd never find players like me and my brother now.
Right.
Like we couldn't. Jordan Tutu, when he first got discovered in native provincials and he came down and played for Spruce Grove and he brought in his skates because everything was hand-me-downs, right? Like, because I don't know if you guys have watched that where he's from, Rankin Inlet. Like they don't even have paved roads up there.
Right.
Their rink used to be purely based on the outdoor weather. It was enclosed, but they didn't have machines and stuff. Now they do have a nice rink, but it was hand-me-downs. When he brought in his skates to get sharpened here, they thought it was a joke. They're like, oh, where'd you get these antiques? He's like, they're my brother's. And they're like, well, they're like, you're not skating on these. And he's like, yeah. They're like, these are the worst skates I've ever seen. That's what he played with and made it. Like he made it on sheer grit and tenacity and from, you know, the chaos and trauma at home. He used that where he'd use that as an
persevered
outlet
it.
and use that on the ice to come out. But he's like, now, like me and my brother, we can never afford these $30,000 a year academies. Like there's no chance.
Yeah, that's worrisome because you know that there's some talent out there that will never see the ice.
Well, and when you talk about back with the great ones and all the work you did there and like what it took to make those teams was like a grit and a love for the game.
Yeah.
Whereas now the game feels corporate. And that's not just because corporations are calling the shots. That's because of the players that are making it.
And now so like when you heard Walter and Wayne them like shoot every day, practice every day. Well, now the academies just build that in.
Right.
They have ex-NHLers like, oh, we do our workouts in the morning, we do dry land and we shoot. And they put the mathematics in there so they can kind of get you. Now, again, you always have that exception that's got exceptional talent and exceptional work ethic and they'll rise above, but they can kind of take the math for you. Like that's what you're kind of paying for, right? Is you're like, we'll just put that math and work ethic in. So, but you get kids, they just go through the motions, right? Because when you had Wayne and those guys doing this because they loved it.
Right.
It wasn't because their parents paid for them to go to an academy, pushing them through that where, you know, the academies are great, but when you have 30 players, like, are they really giving everybody the instruction? Like when you're in your garage trying to figure it out yourself and you're pushing yourself? No, right? You'll have guys or girls that are just kind of going through the motion. And I mean, look, my daughter, I'm proud that she navigated without. She had all the offers from the academies.
Yeah.
And my wife and I and she just didn't really, she's like, I just don't really want to move till I'm done. And thankfully, because she went the Ivy League route, right? She's playing for Cornell, doing hockey now, where you don't get a full ride, you have to pay. But I'm happy to pay for an Ivy League degree, which is worth $1 million.
Yeah.
I'm happy to pay now versus paying for high school.
That's right.
Like that's
Good point.
that is where to me the money was valuable. And even then she got an academic scholarship, so I'm paying about the same. I'm paying less than the academies for her to go there.
Wild.
Yeah, I mean
I do love her nickname, which is right there. Like all
What
our
is it?
teammates just Scorgie.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That's everyone.
Oh yeah, I guess.
Like
Score.
she's been on teams where they don't even know her name, right? They're just like, Scorge, what is your real name? Scorgie, that's all even the coaches are like, and then they rhyme it like Scorgus, and then she killed her because she had that Cornell was really big on their fitness testing, right? And she killed it both the on ice and off ice. And her fitness coach like, I'm going to call you Scorcher. And she's like,
So many
but that
good
was like
nicknames.
that's all my nickname in high school. I was known as Scorgie because it's an
yeah.
unusual name, right? So plus we like it when you do that because then you pronounce it right because people don't. They're like Scorgie.
Scorgie.
Like no score like
Yeah,
a goal
yeah.
G is how it's pronounced.
So tell us a little bit more about the great ones for those that are like, okay, this guy's got incredible stories, and you're not even giving us like even close
I want
to
you
the
guys
amount
to
of
tune
stuff.
in. Yeah.
When is this going to be out? Is there a projected time? Can you come back to the sauce and tell us closer to? And
Of course.
invite us.
We'll do whole pro. Yeah. So it's anticipated to release in early 2027. That's
Okay.
kind of where we're thinking is because we've done a bulk of the shooting now. We've got our big interviews coming up. You always kind of save them for last because then you know exactly where you're going to put them in.
That's us, right?
Yep.
Yes, of
The
course,
sauce
yes,
is
of
going to be
course. That'll be
featured.
the very last ones, like the day we're premiering.
All right.
And then we do really want to do something because obviously Edmonton being a character, we want to do like a big screening here of like the first episode.
Perfect.
To kind of kick off and have alumni come back and do something really cool where the fans can
A
kind of
Q&A.
interact. That whole thing and have
Yeah,
them
yeah.
and then have say, okay, it's now available tonight. You can go watch episodes 3, 4, and 5.
That's brilliant. I love this idea.
So, and right now we're negotiating with everyone for the U.S. and international rights. Super Channel came in right away.
Yep.
Again, they're the ones that got this green lit versus any of the other broadcasters that were dragging their feet. They're like, I know Edmonton, this and that. So give Super Channel lots of love. But we're talking right now with Amazon, supposed to come with an offer, ESPN, iTunes, Hulu. Like they're all like, they see the value and we really want this to be a big success in the United States too. So 2027 is when it should be available.
So does everybody in Edmonton, because
Yeah.
like our city gets a bad name. What people like to trash talk our city a lot. It's going to be pretty awesome to see it showcase.
Let's sell out Rogers Place.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Well, we were thinking of doing some because I don't know. Did you guys ever attend the Making Cocoa premiere?
Yeah,
I
I
they
did.
there?
Yeah.
So we were thinking about doing something like that with the Oilers and a way to give back. Because something that even the Oilers really discovered when they did that event is that a lot of people said that was their first time in Rogers Place because they couldn't afford tickets. So like tickets to go to that were only $20 or whatever,
Right.
$25. So it's really cool whenever you can do something like that
Yeah.
and give back to the city and do something. So we're definitely looking at doing something like that and really making the city, because the city is a vital character and the footage. Like we're even going to be doing an out call here in the edit of just people that have old memorabilia or photos and stuff to come, because you can get gold like that, right?
Yeah.
People had maybe their own videotapes or photos
Oh,
or things
sweet.
like that. So we're planning to do that. It'd be a lot of fun. The director's just so dialed in. He's an Emmy Award winner.
Cool.
He won for Julian and the Phantoms on Netflix. Like
Nice.
he's grew up in Calgary, but diehard Oilers fan. So he has a great perspective of like being in the wrong city when you're cheering for the team
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
winning. So, and just the way he approaches, like he was so dialed in the history and the questioning, and I firmly stand by it. It will be the one that people will say that's like when other people in the industry want to make a hockey doc, they'll be like, I want it to be like the great ones.
I can't wait to
that'll
cry.
be the gold standard.
Are you going to make me cry?
Of course, all my docs almost make
I know.
everybody cry. They
Yeah.
always make, even when you're not expecting them to come in, you're like, I wasn't expecting to cry.
Truly, Ice Guardians, I was sobbing in the
Well, that
theater.
one's got one of
It
the
was
most powerful
so
endings.
good.
Yeah, that one, that's still like, you're not supposed to have favorites because they're like children, but the ending of that one with a little more fire is one of the hardest things to not.
It was so interesting with Ice Guardians where you like took a deep dive into what it's like to be an enforcer and why they're important to the game. It was interesting because there was so much negativity for so long about fighting in hockey and
Yep.
the damage that's done. And obviously there's some weight to some of those arguments.
Yep.
But to hear the story told with the story behind the guys and how they do protect these other players, and when they police the game themselves, the refs don't do it, and then it doesn't turn into stick work and wreck the game. It was a really terrific documentary.
Well, I always just found the humanity behind those guys, and
And
you
that,
look
yeah.
at.
Yep.
I know. Look up today for people listening, and even yourself. Brett Hall just did a speech. He got inducted to some kind of St. Louis thing, and he was talking about how important Kelly Chase is to him. And he's like, I never told him this, but the character he brought, the way he brought it, he's like, it's what I modeled myself after in the career. So he's like, everyone looks at me for all the goals I scored.
Yeah.
But I looked up to Kelly Chase and these guys that looked after me for the way that they interacted with people off the ice. And the way, and that's what you're hearing about Semenko. Like
Yeah.
Semenko's like that guy that was like loved because he like, how do you not love a guy? It's like the hero in the movie that's willing to put himself into harm's way for the betterment of his team, sacrifice his own body to do that. You love a player that does that, right? Like just like a guy that blocks shots and off the ice, and because their career is so finite and they know one punch or just like, oh, we don't need toughness anymore. It's almost like they appreciate it in the moment more because they know it can be taken away like that.
Right.
We're superstar goal scorer. You know, he has a couple bad years.
Yep.
Someone will still take a chance on him, right?
For sure.
Tough guy, like, nah, he lost that fight. He's not really tough enough anymore. Move him on, right? Like, it is. The enforcers are
Pretty cutthroat.
for me. Yeah, they're the guys that. I mean, Kelly Chase is a dear friend now. I have nothing but amazing things to say about that individual, and everyone in the hockey community will almost say the same thing.
Yeah, unless you got the shit beat out of you by him.
No, but even then, there's like a respect. Like when they've had it, there's like, yeah, you owed me. There's a story that came out recently because Kelly Chase and Joey Kosher grew up together, right, in Saskatchewan, right, along with Wendell Clark and Clark Gillies. All the tough guys came from Saskatchewan. And there was one time where like they were on opposite teams, and Kosher's like, what's his name cross the line? I need to get him. And he's like, Chaser, don't get in my way, right? Otherwise, and this is how much passion for your team you had back then. It's like childhood friends would fight each other to be like, hey, well, I got to do my job. Kelly's like, okay, I'll give you a hall pass if you let me get so-and-so because he's been a jerk to Brett Hall and I need to get him. And they're like, fine. They made an agreement so they had to pull each other so they could go grab the guys. And then they were in like a town hall, and the players were in there like, sorry, brother. So one time I had to let down the team. You'd cross the line. We made an agreement, and the tough guy said, go do your thing and get it done.
Oh my gosh.
Calling the shots. That's awesome.
Man, our chat just loves you. Whenever you're here in Edmonton, you gotta, because do you reside here?
Yeah, I live here. I live on the south side.
Why did I think that you had moved? It's because you should be in the Hollywood Hills. That's why I'm just
I
always
will
thinking.
never move to California. I go down there for work a lot, and I am there for like, after 2 days after I do my in and out and enjoy the nice weather, I'm like, I cannot wait to get out of there.
Okay.
The traffic is atrocious. The pricing there is ridiculous. It is. I have no love for California.
Well, this is good. We want you to stay in Canada. We want to be supporting our Canadian producers and filmmakers. And we're so excited for the great ones to come out. Like we talked about earlier on the show, make sure you are looking at all of Adam Scorgie's previous work. Of course, follow you online. Where can people find you on Instagram?
Instagram is just Scorgie, like
Scorgie.
Yeah. You can see me on there. Or, our social, you can go to our website, which is scorgieproductions.co. And then I'm on Twitter under, it's either Scorgie or Scorgie Media.
It's Adam Scorgie.
Yeah.
I found you.
Yeah.
This is kind of cool. We have another guest coming in about 8 minutes here. I don't know if you know Julian McKenzie, but he just wrote a book. It's called Black Aces, and we're going to talk to him about all of the stories that he's collected from these notable black hockey players. So this book was just made. He's just starting to promote it.
I think it drops like early next month.
Yeah, so he just got like a bunch in the mail, so we're going to be talking to him about that too.
Well,
Is
I
that
worked
cool?
with, do you guys know Kwame Mason?
Yeah.
So Kwame did Soul on Ice, right? And I helped him. We were both early in the careers when we came on there, and he was just starting, and he wanted to tell that about the history, past, present, future of black hockey players, and how there was actually like a whole Nova Scotia league, right, when they weren't allowed to play in the other leagues.
Interesting.
It's fascinating how much actually black history is in hockey that you didn't know about.
Yep.
So I'd be fascinated to know this book. There's a lot of tremendous stories. I mean, Oilers have been always great with that. I had a lot of great players.
Rich
here, starting
history
with
of
Grant
it, yeah.
Freer, right? One of them, and you had even Pokey Reddick and Mike Greer and George LaRock and Anson Carter, and you've had lots here. But Grant was one of the first, and it's funny because Grant, like, because he was in a goalie's mask, he's like, you couldn't really see my fro. I didn't get it as much as maybe other people. We were really trying to push or dig for the racist angles in making Coco, and he's like, man, I stopped pucks on one game. No one, like Len Sather's like, I don't give a shit. Win me games.
Right.
I want the best goalie. I don't care where you're from or what you did or like.
Yeah. It's too bad that that's not a more common take, right?
Well, and it's funny, Grant, where he first experienced racism in the leagues when he went to Buffalo and he was playing there, and there was a golf course that wouldn't allow him to play there.
No.
And he was like, what? Like he was coming from here where like he was loved and like
free membership.
He's like,
You're like,
well,
what is
why
this?
can't I play here? And then the city like backlash and like burnt the gate and stuff like that. And Grant's like, no, don't do that. That's mean. Like Grant's such a sweetheart. He's like, oh, Grant is such a one of the nicest human beings you could have. Yeah.
Well, to get fired up for the great ones, we've just given you two to add to the list if you're going to be watching them. Making Coco and Ice Guardians for sure.
I mean, all of the ones.
Choo, I need to watch that. I haven't watched that
Scorgie
yet.
is
Watch
done.
Tutu, definitely bring out your tissues. That is it's a very positive ending because Tutu is now 15 years sober and has never been better as far as his life. And he is one in a million, 1 in a billion that he broke like 3 generations of generational trauma.
Amazing.
To just be like, not my daughters.
Yep.
No drinking, no. He was like, not for me. He went to rehab once and said, no, I'm done. I'm going to be present with my daughters. I'm going to be a great father. Wow. Incredible story. And, you know, all of that happened with his brother taking his own life.
Yep.
And it's his story. We're really hoping next year we submitted it this year for the Canadian Screen Awards, which is our Oscars, only way less sexy.
Yeah.
Hey, we do what we
Canadian,
can, though, right?
Yeah,
We do what we can. Awesome, man. Well, thank you so much for coming in. The Saucers are obsessed with you. So, yes, make sure you are supporting Adam Scorgie and everything that he does and follow along. And we'll obviously keep you updated on when the great ones will be released, when you can maybe support it, go to the viewing party here in Edmonton.
Yeah.
And thanks for coming in.
Oh, my pleasure. Anytime.
Somebody gave a shout out to your wife saying she's a great soccer player.
Shout out.
My wife is fun. All my kids, for those that see, the only thing I really post on socials is like my films and then my kids. I'm not into any politics or anything. I don't post any of that crap. But my
they're like immediately followed. Thank you.
All my kids get their skill from my wife. My kids are all phenomenal athletes. It's not for me.
I love this. Okay, well, you're so talented. Thanks for coming in, and we can't wait to have you back again. We will be right back, Saucers. We're going to just get a picture with Adam before he heads out of here, and then stick around. We got Julian McKenzie joining us to talk about Black Aces. That's coming up shortly, and then we have Joe Exotic,
The Tiger King.
Damn, Tiger King. Amazing.
He is also still to come. This is a stacked episode. Plus, we still need to discuss people starting this rumor that Ryder and I are second cousins. We are going to debunk that as well. Lots to come. We'll be right back. It is on.
Oh, nailed it. Big thanks to Adam Scorgie for coming in. If anybody wants more information or like, what was his name again? Always feel free to reach out to us any way you can. Our next guest is brought to you by Southview Acura, family owned and operated on Edmonton's south side. Southview Acura offers a premier selection of new and pre-owned Acuras and more, backed by expert service you can trust. Stop by today and discover why at Southview Acura, luxury meets reality.
Welcome to the Sports Interaction Studio as well. On the sauce, we've got Julian McKenzie. How's it going today?
Going good, guys. Can you guys hear me?
Yep.
Yeah.
Coming in loud and clear.
Am I really before Tiger King?
Yeah,
you are.
Are you serious?
Truly, we already recorded it just before the show.
He called us from prison.
What?
Yeah, swear to God. And we know it's him for sure.
Yeah.
This is not one of those things where you end up realizing it's AI later. This is the Tiger King reached out to us randomly too.
He DM'd us on Instagram and he went, "Hey." And I wrote back, "Hi. Can I help you?" He wants to promote people paying to help him get out of jail. So he's reaching out to all these different podcasts and we were one of them.
When we respond to him, we'll tell him to hit you up for the Chris Johnston Show.
There you go. You want to have Joe Exotic on your show or what?
I don't know what to say. I just
know.
hope this segment I just hope this segment keeps everyone together up until you guys get to Tiger King. I'm in shock.
Listen, we are so thrilled to have you. This is so exciting. So is your book out on shelves yet, or you just got a bunch in the mail before anyone else
I got
did?
a bunch in the mail. But I've had a few friends who pre-ordered from local stores who got copies very early. So it'll be available for everybody on February 3rd. But if you already have your own copy by now, all the power to you, man. That's great. That's awesome. I'm very excited for people to read it.
I was reading up on you just to learn more about your history, and there was an interview that you did with your old university, and it was really cool reading that you had it on your bucket list to maybe one day write a book. Tell us about Black Aces. What's going on there?
Yeah, I wanted to write a book since I was a kid, and to get the opportunity to write a book detailing the history of Black hockey players, I thought it would have been a really cool idea. I got approached with the idea of writing a book almost 2 years ago, and I thought it would have been cool to compile different profiles on different Black hockey players through the history of time, and even mention the colored hockey league of the Maritimes. I just thought it would be a really cool idea, and throughout the process, reaching out to different athletes like Joe McGinley, George LaRock, Grant Fuhr. I got to talk to PK Subban a little bit too, Anson Carter, and even for players who are not specifically, there's not a specific chapter dedicated towards them. I tried my best to include as many moments as I could, whether it's Tampa Bay icing a starting lineup of three Black forwards in a game against Anthony Duclair of the Florida Panthers, for example. Like I mentioned, the Colored Hockey League of the Maritimes is also mentioned. Val James, there's a point I mentioned him in my chapter on Tony McKegney. There's a lot of different stories thrown in and about Black Aces, and I hope people enjoy them.
So tell us a little bit before we dive into the actual book and maybe get a couple stories out of you just as a tease for people that are going to purchase the book. What's your history? How did you start in journalism? I know you went to university for it. What else have you done? Because were you also a DJ on a radio station, or was that not true?
So I was, I used to work for, when I was in university at Concordia, Montreal, I did host a sports radio show there called The Starting Rotation. And then I did work for TSN Radio in Montreal, and I produced a couple shows here and there and worked with a couple different hosts over there. So I did work in radio for a bit. I did work in TV, in CTV, again in Montreal. I did weather actually for a couple years and did a little bit of sports reporting here
Let's
and there.
hear your weather voice.
No, that's long retired.
That's the worst.
That's long retired. It's long retired. Long retired. And then just I was freelancing for a lot of different places, wrote for the Gazette and the Canadian Press. And I actually got with the Athletic about 5 years ago. I started as a translator, worked my way up as an editor, lived in Calgary for 2 years, and covered the Flames for a bit. And now I cover the Ottawa Senators and write about them and write about the league at large. So it's been really fun to just have this career in sports media. There's a whole bunch of other different stops along the way, but that's, again, not going to be nearly as interesting as talking to Joe Exotic. So I'm not going to give you the whole back and forth, but it's been really cool these last couple of years, just being in the field and covering the NHL, and not just, of course, writing about specific teams that I've covered, but also getting the opportunity to write cool stories about why chirping isn't the same way that it used to be as it was in the 80s and 90s and the 2000s, for example, or how players are affected by the relaxed dress code before games, where players don't just have to wear suits. It's been really fun to write about the NHL these last couple of years.
So with Black Aces, I'm sure, as you mentioned, Jerome McGinley, we saw on the cover from St. Albert, and then Grant Fuhr was mentioned. Yeah. The Edmonton Oilers have a rich history with some terrific Black hockey players that have been on the roster and made big impacts on this team. You got any stories from the people of Edmonton we'll get fired up about?
One of my favorite stories I got to tell was about George LaRock, who I get that, he doesn't have the same championship pedigree as a Grant Fuhr, but for people who grew up in the 2000s, like I did, that's one of the more memorable personalities to look up to in the NHL. Even people like Sarah Nurse, who I spoke to for the book, that's somebody that they try to go out of their way to use when they were playing NHL video games growing up. I wanted to kind of throw people for a loop with my chapter on him. Obviously, people are going to remember him as a fighter, and there's some stories of him fighting guys like Ratias Ivanins when he was in LA. You guys have seen that clip of both of them just kind of talking to each other during a face-off, being like, "Hey, you want to go? Yeah, okay." And then they just end up having the tilt of the year. I wanted to write about when George Laraque scored a hat trick. There was a game he played against the Los Angeles Kings in 2000.
He almost went through the boards.
Oh my God. Like, he scores these first 2 goals, which are essentially garbage goals, and he's like waiting for this game to play out, and he's thinking at the end of the game he's not getting that 3rd goal in, and then he gets to play in the final seconds. He gets this pass from Boyd Devereaux, makes the spin move around the defenseman, scores the goal, and he's just skating up the ice just like as if he won the cup. Like, remember when like Neil Yakupov scored that goal, and I think it was against the Kings, funny enough, and then the slide. He almost did the slide, but like George Laraque does this incredible celebration. And then after the fact, he's sitting, I think it was in the dressing room, he's sitting, he gets a phone call from Wayne Gretzky, and he's like, "Hey, congrats on the hat trick." I think it's was it the record? I'm trying to remember the exact number of hat tricks Wayne Gretzky scored. He's like, "You've got that many to get to mine." And like, that's such like a bone-chilling phone call for George to get. My favorite part of that story is when, obviously, after a hat trick, people throw hats on the ice. George wanted to collect all of the hats that were thrown, and he has them in these 2 large garbage bags, and he brings them home with him, and he's like, "Oh man, this was such a great memory. I'm going to remember this for the rest of my life." Years later, he's looking to move into a new house, and he's looking around through his old crib, and he finds these 2 garbage bags. He's like, "Oh, what are these things?" He opens them. It's just this rancid smell of all these hats that have just been sitting and building up over time.
Just a lice fight.
Yeah. But no, I hope people enjoy the George Laraque chapter, just because there's a lot of different stories of how he overcame a lot of racism that he endured in his junior career. And the one time when his parents came to see him play, I think in minor league hockey, and they were subjected to racial slurs, and they decided they weren't going to go watch him play again. That was a chapter I really enjoyed writing on him. But there's also stories from Anson Carter, of course, and detailing Grant Fuhr's career as well. I really enjoyed detailing some of the different Oilers in this book.
Awesome.
That's so great. So Black Aces, that's going to be out for people to purchase when? They can pre-order now?
You can pre-order now. It'll be out February 3rd for everybody, essentially. Support local if you can, but you can get it at the other big box stores or Amazon or Indigo. You can also order directly from the publisher I'm working with, Triumph Books. Get the book wherever you can get it.
Do you touch on the impact of initiatives and programs like Hockey is for Everyone and Hockey Diversity Alliance in the book?
Yeah, Hockey Diversity Alliance, the Player Inclusion Coalition. In the intro of the book, I definitely touch on how both those initiatives are at least trying to make the game more inclusive. It's obviously a really big point that a lot of people are trying to work on. The hope with the book is to obviously detail these different stories from players, just to show that as much as we see hockey as a very white sport, Black players have been embedded in the fabric of the game from time. And it's important to see different initiatives, even if they're not working together, particularly with the HDA and the Player Inclusion Coalition necessarily together. It's still important that these groups still work towards making the game more inclusive, so that way you could find ways to have more people who look like me, not just playing the sport, but also just getting involved in it. I also think it's just as important, especially for people like me who want to work, who work in media, to see people who are covering the game. You look at someone like David Amber, who does his work on Sportsnet, or I think of a guy like Everett Fitzhugh, who does broadcasting for Seattle Kraken games on radio. It's just as important, I think, to see people who are broadcasting the game who are able to provide those perspectives, and even execs too. Even if there isn't a specific chapter on Mike Greer for this book, I still thought it was important to at least mention him in some way. Obviously, excuse me, he has his time with the Edmonton Oilers and bouncing around from different teams, but it was really cool to talk to someone like Daniel Briere and hear some great comments about Mike Greer and how he's thought of pretty fondly, I think, around the league with what he's doing. And look at the San Jose Sharks, for example, and the fact that they've been able to benefit from the youth movement of guys like Macklin Celebrini and Will Smith and insulating them with veterans. It was cool to hear people talk nice about Mike Greer as well. So yeah, we definitely touch on the book definitely touches on some initiatives from some of those groups mentioned.
Julian, we would love to have you on the show to just like straight up talk some hockey at any point as well. So we'll probably do that in the future.
Yeah, do you mind if we bug you in the future, or are you going to block us after this? Leave me alone.
I want to hear the Joe Exotic interview first.
Okay, we promise that's coming up. If you're watching along on the YouTube, it's happening.
I want to hear the Joe Exotic interview first. That's what I want to hear. If this is the type of show that gets those kind of guests, I really want to. I'm sorry to just go back on this, but like I've been stunned at this for like a good 10 minutes.
So were we, man. So were we.
When
Okay.
I can't wait to tell all my friends. Like, hey, I was on this podcast and I opened
for Joe Exotic.
I opened for Joe Exotic. I hope I kept people entertained that whole time. I really hope so.
Dude, we pre-recorded the call with him because he only had a certain amount of time to chat with us in prison. He had a doctor's appointment right after. But after he hung up, we all looked at each other and we were just like, whoa. Holy shit.
Pre-recorded the interview. All right, that's great. That's awesome. I'm definitely sticking around.
Okay, Julian.
So that is coming up, but I got one question before we let you go.
We got one more? Okay.
As somebody who follows the NHL very closely, I want you to hit me with one underdog team that could go on a run for the rest of the season and maybe into playoffs.
An underdog team?
Yeah, just somebody that might surprise some people in the playoffs.
You're like, no one has their eyes on this team enough, or not enough people have their eyes on this team.
I don't know. Like, an underdog team that would, I don't know. Like,
who's impressing you?
I think if the Senators find a way to stabilize their goaltending, watch out for them in the playoffs. Because I still think that they've done a lot with their underlying metrics in terms of offense and defense, where if they make it to the playoffs, they figured out from their experience last year what to do. I think they'll be a tough out. I don't know if they can go on like a run, but like, if I'm telling you, if they get league average goaltending from here on out and they creep into the playoffs, they come in hot. It's not a team you want to go up against in the first round. But also I feel that way about the Florida Panthers too, which it's weird to think of them as an underdog, but they're outside the playoff picture. Their guys have been banged up. There's been a lot of mileage run on them the last 3 years. Everyone's going to look at them as a favorite once they make the playoffs, because I still think they will make the playoffs. I also like what Buffalo's been doing too. I think the fact that they dug themselves out of the dirt, they went on that 10-game run after they got called out on heated rivalry. Like, I like the fact that the Buffalo Sabres are standing up for themselves and they look like a solid team. I hope Josh Norris isn't injured long term, but I also think that even with him out, I do think that the Buffalo Sabres have generated enough momentum to put themselves in the right spot. Those are some teams I would look at. I still think, though, ultimately the way the West is looking, Colorado, Dallas, maybe even Minnesota, those three teams to me are probably most likely to kind of come away with it all. But hey, maybe we get another year where Edmonton figures it out again. Just throws us all for a loop again.
We've seen some flashes.
Yeah,
we'll see how that goes.
Awesome, man. Thank you so much. Where can people find you?
You could find me at on Twitter at JK McKenzie. Same deal with my Instagram. And just order Black Aces wherever you can get it. I know I'm putting the book on the screen, but I know I've been really annoying with the coverage, but I want people to buy these books.
No, it's great, man.
We're the ones that bugged you. We were like, get on our show. Pay attention to us.
Yeah.
Listen,
we watch on the same show as Joe Exotic.
Joe Exotic slid into our DMs. We slid into yours.
Yeah, you're a huge deal. Julian.
Oh my God. This is insane, dude. Who's the producer who set this up? Who put this rundown like this?
Reese definitely helped.
Yeah.
Joe actually had to call Reese's personal phone.
Oh, that's cool, right? Anyway, I'm making the joke, but like, that's really cool. Thank you guys so much for having me on. I really appreciate it.
Cheers, man.
Thank you so much. We've got lots of people in the YouTube chat saying that they're going to support a local bookshop. They're even suggesting bookshops to go and get this book. This is so great.
Yes.
Julian, we can't wait to talk to you again.
Let me know, guys. Thanks.
Okay, sounds great.
Take care, man.
Cheers.
It is cool that the saucers are all having conversations
It's the
because
best.
we've been too busy
I know. I'm like, I feel like I'm
neglecting,
ignoring our chat room, but they're doing it. They've got each other. We've got the Tiger King coming up on the show. It's about 15 minutes away. Unless producer Reese, are we gonna have because we did have to pre-record it. How's that looking so far?
It's looking good. Like whenever you guys are feeling.
Yeah, we'll go straight at 10:30.
10:30. If anyone needs to leave for 15 minutes, pay attention to maybe your dog you haven't let out, and maybe you have to shoot off a couple emails actually get some work done at the office before the Tiger King joins
Or if you're very excited, go and shoot off a couple fireworks in preparation. We're about to party with the Tiger King.
We got to get to a couple things too. We've had so much fun on the show so far. Time is flying by. I don't even want this show to end. Tomorrow we got another great show with amazing guests. We need to address the rumor online about Ryder and I being second cousins.
Yeah, that's trash. We are way too close of first cousins to...
What?
Oh, I thought we were telling people about that we're first cousins.
No, we are not related. So here's how this rumor started. Yesterday during the show, keep in mind, for those of you who maybe are checking out the sauce for the first time, Ryder and I are engaged. We are getting married this summer. And we got the chat room yesterday lighting up from people asking, are you guys actually second cousins? I'm like reading this. I'm like, who are they talking about? It can't be us. I get a screenshot from a listener after the show yesterday. A saucer slides into my DMs with a screenshot that if you Google our names together, it straight up says Google AI generates a comment from a Facebook post of someone guessing what our big announcement was when we made the switch from the radio station to the sauce with Oilersnation. And the top comment was, maybe they're going to reveal that they did an ancestry kit and they're actually second cousins. And Google generated that to create a fact about us.
AI is scary.
It's not true.
Yeah, it was, I remember the comment and I laughed really hard at it. I might have even pinned it.
So maybe that's why. And they wrote it as if it was a fact. So that's why it's also important to fact check twice. Because something like that pops up that seems like it's real is just some random person's comment. In a joking way. I actually think we should do an ancestry kit on the show just to double check, though.
I mean, what if, though?
One of your best friends reached out to me when I was posting about this on Instagram, and he's like, he's probably into you more now that he thinks you guys are second cousins.
I did grow up in a very small town.
It happens.
I had one buddy who had a real big crush on a girl. His name was Chris. Her name was Danielle.
Shout out to Chris and Danielle.
And Danielle had just moved from Lashburn to Maidstone. And Chris was feeling it. He wanted some of that. And this is in about grade 7. And his mom overheard us talking about it in the living room about like how we were going to line them up so that maybe they'd date. And I'll never forget, Deb walks around the corner and goes, "You're related," and then just kept walking. So the new girl in town,
oh man,
could not be my bestie's forever girl because of that.
It's too funny. Anyway, the rumors are not true, but it is kind of funny. We have since deleted that top comment, so I don't know if you were to Reese, if you were to Google it again, does it still pop up? We tried to get rid of the evidence. The fake news.
We're second cousins.
I don't know. I think it's kind of funny. I might add that to my vows.
Hilarious rumor. Okay, so back in the day, I used to mess with Wikipedia. So anytime a really popular music video would be released, I'd go in and just put myself in it. Be like the guy dancing in the background who does the really sweet breakdancing moves, or the guy who does rolls the car is stuntman Ryder, and I'd give a plug to whatever radio station I was working with at the time, just because I thought it was a free way to get some advertising.
Just get your name out there.
So I did it with Call Me Maybe from Carly Rae Jepsen and claimed that I was the guy in the music video.
Okay.
And I have never gotten so much hype by any, I bet in Vancouver, because that's where I was at the time, people still think I was the guy from the Carly Rae Jepsen music video, who ended up being gay in the music video, if I'm not mistaken.
You didn't know that.
Surprise ending. I never made it all the way through the music video.
Someone on in the chat, Lindsay, just said it does not say that anymore. I just Googled it. So we squashed the rumor by deleting a Facebook comment. That's how you change history, baby.
And I feel bad because that comment did make me laugh.
Yeah, it was so funny. But the way they wrote it was factual.
Uh-huh.
Dang.
And even the internet believed it for a bit. Way she goes.
I got another message from listener Joe who said her boyfriend's dad her boyfriend's mom the other day was like, so are they still going to get married even though they discovered their second cousins? Like, people are walking around openly talking about this as if it's true. That's terrifying.
They're like, maybe they'll choose to get married but just not have kids.
Yeah. They were like giving suggestions. Make sure if you ever see Lisa, it's okay if they get married because it happens. Just make sure they don't procreate. These are conversations people are having about us. People we've never met.
Listen, what I learned is any publicity is good publicity.
Yeah, whatever.
Whatever gets the people talking.
Believe whatever you want.
Spread the rumors you'd
Spread
like.
it. I'm just happy it's second cousins and not first. I'll take it.
We are 10 minutes away from our interview with Joe Exotic, the Tiger King, and I think like this is a smooth transition to get into some entertainment news in the meantime.
Yep, let's do it.
Just to get people ready for Joe Exotic. You know, we're going to be talking about some other very famous people right now. Kiefer Sutherland was recently arrested.
Yeah, he was yelling at his Uber driver.
They got at it quite heavily, apparently, and police say Sutherland's accused of assaulting the driver.
Well, he said, pull over and blank, 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 or I'll you. I think is what it was, like verbal abuse.
I'm just a little bit disappointed that Jack Bauer isn't on the case.
Oh my gosh.
Get to the bottom of this.
Can we move on?
Why?
Something else just came. Something is trending as of 15 minutes ago that we need to discuss.
Yeah, please.
Harry Styles has announced a new album 15 minutes ago. And it's titled Kiss All the Time, Disco Occasionally. I'm already obsessed with it. 10 out of 10 will be streaming.
Yeah, you went through kind of a weird Harry Styles obsession there when the last album dropped. Like
I actually like both of his last two albums. Harry's House was great. Fine Lines was, I would listen to it nonstop. So I'm very excited about this. Harry Styles announced a new album this morning. Kiss All the Time, Disco Occasionally. If he's going to be at the Sphere, I'm paying way too much money to go and see it. Who wants to come with me?
Well, that's interesting twist.
BTS also is returning after a 4-year hiatus. They are going on a world tour, and they're projected to make $1 billion.
Sabrina Carpenter will appear in her first Super Bowl commercial ever for Pringles.
Cute.
And they've done a little tease on it. She's sitting on the kitchen floor playing Does He Love Me or Does He Love Me Not while eating Pringles. That's all we've gotten so far, but I would imagine it'll make some noise. When you look back, like the biggest pop stars at the time often have one of the most talked about commercials. Like Jessica Simpson washing that car.
It was a Carl's Jr. commercial, if I'm not mistaken. Some sort of burger.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Never forget that one. Anyway, this one should be pretty interesting.
Also, Bridgerton just announced the covers. You know how they do like the violin songs in their seasons? They just announced the songs that we'll be playing during the first episode that drops on Netflix January 29th. Some of the Bridgerton covers. There's going to be some Coldplay in there, obviously. Third Eye Blind, Never Let You Go, and DJ Goddess Fallen in Love. Bring it on.
Speaking of songs, Luminate's year-end report has identified the most streamed songs from the last 70 years in North America. So they've done like each decade what song was listened to the most or has been listened to the most via stream.
Okay.
From the 2020s, Alex Warren's Ordinary, which is pretty impressive.
It's kind of newer.
It came out last year, yeah. Chris Stapleton's Tennessee Whiskey topped the 2010s. Fleetwood Mac's Dreams dominated the 70s.
Yeah, that's cool.
Goo Goo Dolls' Iris led the 90s. The order that they put these in is ridiculous. We're jumping all over the place. And Mr. Brightside represented the 2000s as the most streamed song. For the 80s, Don't Stop Believin'. And for the 60s, Fortunate Son from CCR. I didn't know that was a 60s song. I thought that was a 70s song for sure.
They have 70s hits too.
For sure, but like Fortunate Son. Most 60s that I think of is like Elvis, right?
Yeah. Like the Beach Boys.
And Beach Boys, yeah. CCR kind of rips for a 60s band.
Can we circle back to Harry Styles having a new album? When is this out? When do we get it? I'm so excited.
You're asking me, but you're the one that dropped the news.
March 6th.
All right.
12 new songs. Let's go. All right, what else do we need to get to on the show? Maybe 3 stars of anything before Tiger King?
Okay.
No, we'll do that after.
We'll do it after, I agree.
Do you guys like my Heated Rivalry shirt? It finally came in the mail.
There it is. Rosenov.
I got the number on the back.
On the back
too
of it.
lazy to turn around. Anyway, I'm very excited about it.
The Oilers in action tonight. I'm going to the game, which Thursday nights are a little risky for me.
Why?
Because I kind of get into weekend mode.
Oh, yeah, it's Mini Friday.
It is, right? And you kind of feel the vibes. I think a lot of people feel that when they go to the rink. So if you buy me a beer.
No one's buying a beer. You're buying them beer.
No.
Yep.
If you buy me a beer, just get me one big one, not two.
If you
Okay?
see Ryder at the game tonight,
Nobody's ever bought me 2 beers there.
if you see Ryder at the game tonight, you walk up to him and you say, Lisa told me you were buying me a beer tonight.
No,
Yeah.
please don't do that. You know how much beer are there?
What? Are you drinking beer right now?
No, I said, do you know how much beer are there? Why? At the rink, they're so expensive.
Oh my gosh, Reese, did you also think that sentence didn't make sense?
I didn't understand it at first either.
Well,
Do you know how many beer are there? I don't
do you
know.
know how much beer are there?
Got it.
That's a reasonable sentence.
It does make sense.
Now it makes sense.
Turns out you two are the ones that have been drinking. Anyway, good luck to the Oilers tonight. We'll dive into that game heavily tomorrow. Liam's going to be joining the show, so we'll give you a full recap of what's shaking down there.
We also have comedian Dan Duvall joining us virtually tomorrow. Apparently, he's had a wild time on a cruise.
Including like the strangest flight there ever. The chick beside him was vaping, and he was questioning whether he should rat her out or not.
Speaking of flights, did you hear this viral story? People were flying from Toronto to Moncton, and passengers heard this like screaming and banging below them, and it turns out there was an employee at the airport that was locked in there with the luggage.
Oh boy.
Yeah, the person's okay.
I feel like we talked to a guy once who that happened to. Or like he fell asleep. He just laid on a bunch of bags because he thought he had a 5-minute break, and he ended up falling asleep for like half an hour. They didn't end up taking off, but he thought that like, and I don't know if that's real safe. Like I don't think it's air pressured like the cabin is. And I don't know what the temperature's like down there. Like if you were flying into a colder climate, you'd probably be in trouble.
Yeah.
You're not listening
Sorry,
at all.
hold on. I'm just posting on my Instagram story that we're getting new Harry Styles. I can't be someone that like posts hours from now. If I'm a true Harry Styles fan, I gotta get it up now. What was it? March 6th?
Yeah.
New Harry Styles, March 6th. I gotta tell the people.
Thanks for derailing the whole damn show for this.
Was it March 6th?
Oh my God.
Harry Styles.
You know how many people we have tuning in right now for the first time to see our interview with Tiger King? Why couldn't you wait until the interview with Tiger King was airing and
March
then
6th.
do this?
It's up. We're good. We can move on. Tiger King has been teasing us well over a week now, saying that he's going to join the Sauce.
Mm-hmm.
Yesterday, we stayed here overtime. We were here throughout the afternoon waiting for the call that never came. Tiger King reaches out to us last night and he says, sorry, trouble in the clink. And we went, it's all good, Joe. Can you call us tomorrow? And he said, I'll be there.
And he did call this morning.
Which is a good thing because I was so fired up thinking that he ghosted us yesterday that I slid into Carol Baskin's DMs and I said, hey, you want to be featured on the Sauce? I might have to delete that message now.
No, we should get her on too. I'm interested.
Yeah, let's get her perspective.
Get this all fired up again. Are we ready for Joe Exotic, the Tiger King? Our chat with him from just about an hour and a half ago.
That was so wild.
Let's do this.
Was this real life?
It was real life.
All right, Reese.
It was spectacular.
Whenever you can hit action, we're ready for it. The Tiger King on the Sauce. We are joined by Joe Exotic. Where are you right now, Joe?
Fort Worth, Texas.
And what's going on? What's new?
How are you able to post on Instagram all the time if you're in prison?
I have 5 people all over the world that run my social media. I've got one in the United Kingdom and people all over the United States. And then my husband in Mexico.
You are unarguably one of the most captivating personalities of the last, ever, maybe.
Yeah.
But of the last 5-10 years for sure. Right now, speaking
Well, I wish President Trump thought so.
Yeah. No, we understand what you're doing. You're trying to raise money to get the heck out of there.
Yeah, they're out there raising money trying to get my Supreme Court paid for. Man, it's expensive trying to prove you're innocent.
Fair enough. And so how are you trying to raise that money, Joe?
I mean, they're doing everything. They've got an online store, I guess. You know, they send me screenshots of pictures in the mail of everything that they do.
Did you know that you have a song called Hot Dogs on the Barbecue? I think it's AI generated.
I wrote that.
You wrote that?
Well, I wrote that, but they use AI to do the music and stuff because I can't record from here.
Well, it's a really good song.
We could record you right now.
I like the Say No Name ones myself.
Joe, it must be pretty frustrating when you hear of celebrities who are getting away scot-free with god-awful crimes around the world right now, and you're behind bars. Where are you at with that?
Like, you know, it gets depressing and frustrating because, you know, I sit and watch the news all day, you know, and you're watching them blow up boats in the Venezuela ocean, and then they're pardoning the president in Honduras for drug trafficking, you know, and then the Chrisleys get out after $300 million or so for bank fraud, and yeah, it's pretty disgusting.
So,
it really is.
Who are you more angry with, Carol Baskin or the justice system?
Believe it or not, I've never been that angry with Carol Baskin. Jeff Lowe is the one that needs to be in prison and pay for his bullshit.
You and Carol were one of the most popular Halloween costume couple edition a few years ago. What are your thoughts on that?
I mean, it's pretty funny. You know, I had the first 2 years, I had an actual costume contract with Starlight Costumes, I think it was, you know, that has Party City and all those.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You know, it's just amazing. I mean, I have never seen it all out there, you know. You got to keep in mind, the only thing I've seen is, you know, the letters that come in and the interviews that I do. But I really can't wait to get out there and meet the people.
So have you watched The Tiger King?
You know, I saw it for the first time about a year ago. My lawyers brought it in on a computer because we're working on some lawsuits. And, yeah, I saw it for the very first time. But, you know, a lot of people don't understand that I didn't film for Tiger King because I was in jail 2 years before Tiger King was even made.
I didn't know that.
So they pulled all of the clips of you from your YouTube channel.
Yeah, pretty amazing, isn't it? And you know, the funnier part is if people, you know, people just watch TV and they believe what they see, you know. But I could sit there and pick apart everything that was fake and forged, you know, because like the video visit that I did when I was in county jail is how they got me talking on a phone from prison, you know, and I have never, I mean, when the phone answered it when I called you, it says, this is a call from Joe, okay? And if you watch Tiger King, they've AI'd it to where it says, this is a call from prison from Joe Exotic. And see, that's impossible to even use because I can't use my name Joe Exotic on a recording. All right, for prison or jail, I have to use my real name.
Got it.
And then if you watch the show enough, they lowered the screen to where you can't see my lips match what they have me saying.
What?
Whoa.
Yeah, it's pretty fucked up. It's fucked. You know, it's just crazy that they had an agenda when they made that show, and the agenda was to pass the Big Cat Safety Act and put Joe in prison. You know, and then they ended up putting Doc in prison.
What do people get completely wrong about you,
This
Joe?
call is from a federal prison.
Oh.
What?
What do people get completely wrong about you that may have just known you from the Tiger King?
Well, two things that I hear the most about that really upset me. One is everybody thinks I'm in prison for animal abuse, and I've never been charged, accused, or convicted of animal abuse or animal cruelty. You know, the 5 tigers that I put to sleep, they charged me for taking 5 endangered species without a permit. You know, it wasn't about putting them to sleep. It was about they thought that I should have applied for a permit, which in American history, nobody has ever applied for a permit to put an endangered animal to down, because a permit takes 6 to 8 months to get, and you can't let an animal suffer for 6 to 8 months, or they're gonna get you for animal cruelty. And then the other thing, they made me out to be a meth head, and I'm the only one in the show with a full set of teeth and wearing clothes. You know what I'm saying? pretty crazy. But they needed an enemy, in order to pass the Big Cat Safety Act.
All right, fair enough. So you said that you have a husband. You met in jail. Do you have any advice for anyone that's looking for love? I know Valentine's Day is exactly a month away. You're actually promoting on your Instagram that people can donate $50 American to help raise money with you, and you will call their partner on Valentine's Day and wish them a happy love day. What's your advice for people looking for love?
Is that what they got going?
That's what they got going. You didn't even know that.
They send me phone numbers just to say thank you for people that donate money for my legal thing.
Got it.
Supreme Court.
Okay.
But anyway, what the advice that I have? Let's see. Trust very few people. If don't fall in love too fast, because nowadays a commitment doesn't mean a whole lot to anybody. But be true to yourself. This is my theory. Okay, be true to yourself. Love yourself before you love anybody else. Okay, always honor your word. Do one nice thing for somebody a day, and be proud of everything you do. And the hell with the rest.
I love it. If someone were to send you a care package, if that was even possible, what's something that you miss from the outside world, Joe?
It's not possible.
It's not?
No. Yeah, they even Xerox your mail. You can't have anything sent in.
What do you miss?
Pizza and beef jerky.
Great answers.
What a combo. I knew we'd get along.
Joe Exotic, how can people support you? Follow you on Instagram, and just that's where everything's posted of how people can...
The biggest thing, I have a website called pardonjoeexotic.com. And get on there and sign the petition, because it goes directly to President Trump. And then I have a website that's called joeexoticofficial.com that has all the evidence on there, the new evidence, the recordings off their cell phones and everything. But there's a store there that they put all kinds of really cool stuff on. I'm not the type of person, and that's probably why they're doing this, raising money for me to call and say thanks, because I don't like to beg for just free money. I want you to get something for your donation. So get on the website, joeexoticofficial.com, and get some gear.
This call is from a federal prison.
It helps me with the legal battle, and it gives you something in return, and that's the way I like to do things.
Well, Joe, we didn't quite know what to expect with this call, if we'd have to be editing some of it out if you got a little too fired up, but it turns out you're just a lovely dude, and it was great chatting with you. Thank you for taking some time with us.
Well, I appreciate the support to everybody out there. I send my love and respect, and George says hi from Mexico, and one day we're going to have the biggest party that America and Canada has ever seen.
Well, and if you're not feeling comfy in America anymore, come on up.
Yep. We're waiting.
Well, if I get pardoned, I can. But if I don't, and I'm still a felon, I don't think I can come to Canada.
Damn, we got really good Alberta beef jerky.
Yeah, I'll talk to my people, Joe.
Yeah, we'll work something out.
I'll make it around the world somehow, some way, buddy. You plan on that.
Take care of yourself in there.
Thanks, Joe.
Okay. All right. Bye-bye.
Cheers. We are joined.
There it is.
It happened.
We're back to live again. Hello. That was pre-recorded just right before we started the show today. What a wild ride. I like Lindsay's comment. If he is manipulative, consider me manipulated.
We're gonna show you the 5 seconds post-interview before our show went live.
Pre-interview.
No, post, after we hung up with him.
Oh, is it after?
Reese has
okay. I thought it's when we found out that he was on the line.
No.
Okay.
The three of us kind of blacked out. We were like, what is happening? Is this real life? So here's how we reacted after we hung up the call with Joe Exotic. Watch. Oh,
Reese is getting it right now.
we were shook. We just put a poll up in the chat. Well, whose side are you on after hearing Joe talk to us from jail? Are you Team Joe or are you Team Carol?
Everybody's like, why does he sound so chill? I don't know, man. I got a soft spot for that guy. Free the man. You look at what some celebrities are doing and what they're getting away with doing.
The fact that he's been in jail, he was in jail 2 years before the Tiger King even came out. He's been in there forever.
And because if you're OJ, you can get a lawyer and a lawyer team and afford it that's good enough to get you out, or not even, you don't even need to see jail time in some situations.
Yeah.
This guy's done his time. He tried to off Carol Baskin, but way she goes sometimes, you know?
We don't even know if that's true.
Right. I
All
think
right.
that's what he is in jail for, though.
Yeah, it has nothing to do with
conspiring
the
or whatever
Tigers.
it's called.
Trying to get a hitman, allegedly.
Yeah, and he was just throwing it out there. Maybe he was kidding.
Yeah, maybe he was just like laughing with his buddies about it. One of them was like, I could soil this guy and take over the biz.
Well, I didn't trust some of the people in that show. Anyway, it turns out the sad part is he never really did financially recover from that incident, you know, or
He's
else he'd
still
be able
asking
to
for money.
He'd be able to afford that lawyer team. Bless you, Joe. Thinking about you, bro. Thanks for checking in on the inside. I've done a little time myself.
Ryder, you were in the drunk tank for 20 minutes. That doesn't count.
3 hours. I learned a lot about myself. Just like it sounds like Joe has. So maybe that's why I felt so connected to him. I voted for Team Joe.
Me
for
too.
whose side I was on.
So did I.
94% of people are on Team Joe. There's only 6 Team Carol, and that might be her.
It's because Carol Baskin's in the chat right now.
Yeah, that's true.
Her and her husband.
Saucy Carol Baskin has been commenting that she's not real thrilled about this interview shaking down.
Reese, you got that clip of us post-interview? This is how we reacted after we hung up with Joe Exotic. Check this out.
I haven't even seen this yet.
Holy shit!
Holy shit!
Holy shit!
Holy shit! Unreal. Good catch, Reese.
Oh my gosh.
Man. All right. So our show today has been all over the place in the best way possible.
What is
man.
happening?
Some
What
great
world are we
guests.
living in?
I'm here for it. This might be our most viewed show yet.
I don't know about that. Kelsey wrote in saying, I need to rewatch Tiger King because I've got some rose-colored glasses here all of a sudden.
Yeah. The thing is, I think that's what made that show so interesting is you kind of did fall in love with him, and you also recognized him as a villain for some of the stuff he did. Like, I think his whole persona and personality, and it was polarizing even like in your own heart, you know? You stopped listening again, and I was really on one there.
Sorry, I was just reading the hilarious saucers in the chat. Samantha said, when my turtle sits under his basking light, we call him Carol Baskin.
The next time I talk about things being polarizing to my heart, I'd appreciate it if you paid attention.
I'm sorry.
Well, yeah, you've been a little bit distracted today.
Harry Styles has a new album.
I don't give a hoop. We had Tiger King on.
I'm sorry.
Priorities.
Jay wrote in, I really dislike the romanticizing of criminals because of documentaries. It's true.
That's true.
Everything has
Like I said,
a motive. There's some bias there. But he even said, that documentary he wasn't even involved in.
Mm-hmm.
He said, they made me out to be worse than I am. He's like, I'm not even that mad at Carol Baskin. She's not the problem.
so maybe it's not just romanticizing them, you know? It could be doing the opposite as well. That's
Okay.
why it's so polarizing on the heart.
Everybody go rewatch The Tiger King and then get back to us today with your thoughts. Maybe you'll revert back to being like, no, that guy's the worst.
I started watching it again with my kid, and she just couldn't get her head wrapped around it. The last 2 shows I've tried to introduce her to her Trailer Park Boys and Tiger King.
And you tried to start super bad with her and turned it off after 5 minutes. It's too far.
It said it was 14A or
It's
whatever,
too
and she
far.
just turned 14.
I think that if you are going to watch a movie like that at 14 years old, you can't watch it with your parents. It has to be something you watch in the basement with your best friends. without your
I don't
parents
want her
knowing.
I don't want her watching that with her best friends either. The first 15 jokes in that are like, oh God. I was like, maybe they'll get through this. Once they're through the convenience store, maybe it won't be quite as nasty.
And then it just keeps getting worse.
And then we watched Jackass instead, and I had to fast forward through some of the weird parts of that too.
Yeah, they're like spreading their balls.
Yeah. Anyway, it might be time to go back to Disney for a bit with my 14-year-old. I did take her to David in the theater. That was good.
By accident.
Yeah, it was a religious movie. The other one that we went to go to was sold out, so we went to David thinking it was just a cool cartoon, but it was...
It influenced you. We were going to go to church on Sunday just to see what all the hype's about. 10:30 a.m. Mass. We slept through it because we were hungover. Maybe next time. God, please absolve us of our sins.
I heard that at that church they have hot dogs on the barbecue.
Okay, can everyone stream Joe Exotic's song Hot Dogs on the Barbecue? The fact that this was pointed out in the chat, that he was so proud to be like, I wrote that. I'd be proud too if I wrote a hit song called Hot Dogs on the Barbecue.
Man. And what did he say he missed the most? Beef jerky
Beef jerky and pizza.
Pizza.
I can't believe he doesn't get pizza in jail.
Yeah.
That sucks. Just slop. Just like oatmeals and stuff. Oatmeal, right?
We should try to sneak him in a pizza.
It's not possible.
Anything's possible. Have you seen what drones can do? Anything's possible. Should we get into the 3 stars of anything?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Oh, the audio didn't work.
Reese
again.
is swearing.
Wait, let's give you a new chance. Well, hey, and cut this part out. And then, hey, coming up next, should we get into the 3 stars of anything, Lisa?
Let's do it.
Where's the second time? Okay, one more time. Wait, don't hit anything. Ready? Hey, Lisa, do you want to get into 3 stars of anything next?
No, I'm over it. Kidding. Yes, let's do it. The audio's not working. We don't need it. Who cares? Okay, so here's the...
Oh.
We got it?
Lisa, why don't we get into the 3 stars of anything?
Okay.
It could be an athlete, snacks, or cars. It's time we pick our 3 stars of anything.
We got it. It
What
came
is
in the
that,
mail.
Lisa?
This is Wax That Nose Beard. New formula, 12 nasal waxing applications. It's a race to 5. All 3 of us have 1 point so far. With the 3 stars of anything, whoever's in last place, once someone hits 5 points, they have to get their nose waxed live on the sauce.
Both at the same time. Both nasties.
So that's
nasty.
That's how I got my ears pierced back in the day.
Oh.
Traumatizing.
Yeah.
They went 1, 2, 3, and they both shot
I guess that's
the piercing.
kind of what you want to do,
No,
though.
it was horrible.
Today we are doing things that you will find in a small town bar for the 3 stars of anything, and I believe I won yesterday, so I get first overall pick.
Go for it. What do you find? And feel free to get in on the chat with this. What is something you always see in a small town bar? We'll get to your honorable mentions after.
With my first overall choice, I'm going to go with a rare find. You don't see this many places anymore, but most small town bars still rock and roll with them. We're going glass beer bottles.
The chat room saying that intro song was way too loud. It scared them. This is the best.
At least they were prepared that it was coming.
Hey, at least you're awake now, right? If Joe Exotic didn't wake you up.
So my first pick, glass bottles of beer.
My first pick, pull tabs.
Good one.
You try to win big, you never do. Maybe you'll win $5 here and there, maybe $1.
In every box, there's a big winner.
$20, right? Maybe sometimes 100? What's the most you can win on a pull tab?
50 or 100 if I'm not mistaken.
I only just learned about pull tabs recently.
Is that even what they're called?
I don't know. Maybe not.
They're just the things you go and then you look and it tells you if you won $5, $20, $50.
The intro to 3 stars was so loud. Devin said, my boss just said, what the F was that?
Yeah, our apologies to anybody with headphones
Sorry
in.
about that.
Or anybody trying to keep it low key that
My
they watch
bad.
a YouTube show. It's not your bad. That one's Reese's bad.
Reese, what's your first overall pick for things that you'll always see in a small town bar? You are from a small town. You're always around a small town bar. What do you see?
Always around a small town bar. I'd like to apologize for the audio levels on that.
No problem.
Didn't mean to scare anybody.
Apology accepted.
Yep.
And like me being around a small town bar a lot, there's always like that Uncle Ricky or somebody that's always there, always at the bar, and everybody in the town knows, like, just stay away from Ricky.
Okay.
We don't need Ricky around.
If you start talking to
bar's got
Ricky,
these
he'll talk your
regulars.
ear off all night.
Exactly.
But if you are looking for him, if you're like, hey, you owe me $20, you know where to find him. That's the advantage of Ricky's consistency.
And like the whole town panics when he's not at the bar. Like you worry about Uncle Ricky's safety.
Sure.
Great pick. All right, your second pick, Ryder, for 3 stars of anything, things you find in a small town bar. Get your suggestions in on the chat.
Underrated treat. Big old jar of them most places. I'm going to go with pickled eggs.
That was also suggested in the chat. I knew it was coming.
They just have a different bite.
I don't like pickled eggs.
You don't really like eggs, and you don't like pickles. You shouldn't be surprised that you don't like pickled eggs.
I like pickled beans in a Caesar.
Yeah.
And I like...
Have you ever tried a pickled egg in a Caesar?
No.
Ever tried a skin pickle?
Gross. My second overall pick, an active smoke pit. Some of these bougier places, you might see one person vaping outside in a fur jacket.
No. There's like
Small
always
town pub.
one butt just going there.
And
just simmering.
when you walk in, there's always someone you know in the smoke pit too.
It could be Ricky.
Every single
Ricky might
time.
be out there. All right, Reese, your second overall choice for things you'll find in a small town bar.
I'm just going to go with a classic. There's always going to be a pool table there. It might be like completely mutilated. Who knows? But there's always going to be a pool table at the small town bar.
Yeah, it could be like puke stains on it.
Oh, there's stains all over it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and either people never use it, it collects dust, or the people are lined up waiting for their turn.
And the bartenders are always yelling at you about putting stuff on it, making
Right.
sure nothing spills
Yep.
out anymore.
Even though it's a completely
though.
different color than green. All right, my third overall choice is going to be a place that Ricky loves. The VLT machines in the corner.
Nice.
Corner Vilts.
My third overall pick, pony jugs.
Popular choice.
I'll get a triple vodka soda, please.
Oh, man.
Triple, please.
Just getting at it. The thing is, like, even a triple in a pony jug feels like there's not quite enough booze in there. And then there should be. It's a triple.
Yeah,
But you know what I mean?
The ratio is a bit off. That's why you got to get like 3 to 4 shots in it.
And lots of ice. That's a good tip.
Yep.
Okay, that's pony jug tips is going to be tomorrow on the show for the 3 stars of anything. Things to make a pony jug really rip. Your third and final choice, Reese.
Okay, my final selection. I don't know if it's in every small town bar, but everyone I've been to has a condom dispenser in the bathroom. And, like, I don't know who's getting that active that they got to get it at the bar.
I mean, somebody.
It's
Especially in a
town,
small
you never
town.
know.
Better safe than sorry.
Make sure you check and see if they're your second cousin first.
Yeah, double check.
They've always got a lot of, like, pizzazz, too. The condoms in small town bars are never just like, here's some Trojans. They're like banana flavored, glow in the dark with sprinkles. Right? They just seem fancy.
It might actually combust
Yeah.
in the middle of everything.
Yeah. This might burn.
You might not even use this thing. You'll just look at it for a bit.
We've got some incredible honorable mentions in the chat. We'll get to those after we go through ours one more time and then get the poll up in the chat. 3 stars of anything, things you find in a small town bar. Ryder.
Glass bottles of beer, pickled eggs, and VLTs.
Pull tabs, an active smoke pit, and pony jugs.
Uncle Ricky, the pool table, and a condom dispenser.
Nice. Get your vote on, please,
Great
because
answers.
we're taking this very seriously. It's a race to 5. And loser has to get their nose waxed live on the show. In my hometown, a guy that graduated 5+ years earlier than everyone, and he's talking at the bar. Same goes for bush parties. This comment here, the jersey of the one guy in the town who made it to the show. That was going to be one of ours, I think.
Yeah.
Yesterday, we talked about that off air.
We've got this chat that says the wall with the names of all the people who were banned from the bar.
With their pictures. Also, this one here, maybe it's just my small town, but there's always a burger named after a guy from said small town. That's so funny.
Pretty good. We could have done a pretty good steak sandwich night as well. That seems to be most bars. And it's just like your buddy who's on the barbecue that night. Doesn't work there. He isn't getting paid. Just running the barbecue for steak night.
We got Andrew in the chat saying, did you know your podcast is shorter than the YouTube video? Yes, this is brand new to the sauce. We have been cutting up the podcast. So now you're not just getting one podcast a day. You're getting the first hour of the show here. And then a second episode is uploaded of the second hour. And then we're also uploading just the individual interviews. So today's individual interviews are going to be absolutely stacked. So we're kind of just breaking it up for you. So you're not having the full 2 hours and trying to navigate and find the things that you're wanting to listen to if it's not the full show, if that makes sense.
Yeah. So today's guests, you can listen to them on their own, or as just watch this video back after it gets posted.
We just want to be helpful with you. We know you got busy lives. You want to get to the meat that you're actually interested in. So shout out to producer Reese for making that happen.
Longest sentence ever. We had Adam Scorgie, we had Julian McKenzie, and we had Tiger King.
Me?
Yeah, I was like...
Oh, I didn't notice.
Because I said the guests that we had on today were...
Oh, I didn't hear that.
And then you jumped in. No, it's fine. Hey, we're good.
And also, why
Secret
not just go
handshake.
check out all 3 of the episodes, or
Yeah.
all of the episodes from today.
Load us up.
Yeah,
with
duh.
Them listens. We
Download
like
Get
them
on
all.
it.
Download them all.
Reese, you're the best.
Did you hear Download them all made me think of Gotta Catch 'em All? Did you hear this latest collab? And I actually want to sink some money into this. Pokemon has joined forces with Lego, and they're going to release the first ever Pokemon Lego sets. These things are going to be gold. Like, I want to buy 100 and then take some parents to the cleaners next Christmas.
Dwight Schrute style.
I think you could triple, quadruple your money. I don't know. This Lego game, I want to...
It's risky. It's a risky thing to buy a bunch of stuff and hope that someone's going to buy it. I just have the worst online selling luck that...
The thing about those two companies, though, out of any collectibles that have had consistency, it's things that are Pokemon related and things that are Lego related.
Right.
I don't know.
I don't know. I mean, go for it. Live your life, but I'm not interested.
But that was just announced earlier this week that they're going to be joining forces. And I think they even said what the first one's going to be. The first main set will be a Pikachu.
I knew it.
With a Pokeball, including over 2,000 pieces. And it depicts Pikachu bursting from a Pokeball.
Cool.
I'm going to buy 100.
Do it.
Yep.
We already got someone in the chat saying that my son loves Lego. This will be on his list.
See? I'll sell it to the saucers if I get them at base price. No, I promise. But I'm going to be soiling some people from Calgary, I'll tell you that much.
All right.
Get to our bets?
Let's get to our bets. This segment brought to you by Sports Interaction Sportsbook and Casino. Every game is your game when you bet with Sports Interaction. From puck drop to overtime, bet with Canada's homegrown sportsbook. 19 plus, please play responsibly. I'm going, my parlay today, I went with all the games tonight that have a Canadian team.
But you didn't pick the Canadian team in every game.
Not in every game.
Okay.
I did bet against Calgary.
Uh-huh.
And
Vancouver, I think, right?
That's correct.
Yeah.
So on my parlay today, we've got an Oilers win, obviously.
Nice.
We've got, what's my next one? I did bet for the Blackhawks to beat Calgary.
Yeah.
I got the Jets to beat Minnesota.
Mm-hmm.
And the Blue Jackets to beat the Canucks.
Ride with Lisa. Ride with Lisa if
you want.
Like. My buddy's been doing it lately, and he's hit a couple with you.
I mean, last night was very promising at first.
Mm-hmm.
I had one team that I bet on that was winning like 6-0. The other one 4-1. I was like, this is gold. And then it all came down to the Kraken versus
the Devils.
The Devils, and they were tied 2-2 with like 3 minutes left in the third period. Oh, and then the freaking Devils won and screwed my ticket.
Never bet on the Kraken. That's my advice. Never. Okay, I've got an interesting bet today, I think, which features an Edmonton Oiler. So as we know, Braden Point has gone down. Unlikely, questionable at least, that he'll be able to make that Canadian team at the Olympics. So I decided there are some guys that are fighting for that replacement spot right now. And I think goal scoring is going to be a huge part of it when you're trying to replace Braden Point. So one of those guys is going to be our very own Zach Hyman. I got him scoring as well as Wyatt Johnson.
Nice.
They're both in action tonight. I think they both would love that spot. I don't know if either of them will get it. It might just go to Sam Bennett, but that's my bet, is both of those guys scoring tonight. And if you combine them, big money.
Yeah, mine was plus 20 for mine. So get in on the action. Every game's your game when you bet with Sports Interaction. Parlay boosts, live betting, easy deposits, and payouts. Bet now at sportsinteraction.com/Oilersnation 19+. Please play responsibly. Who's in the lead for 3 stars? Ryder, you're in the lead by 41%.
Whoa. Smoked you guys today, just like that active smoke pit. Close it down. Close down shop, Reese. I got the win.
I don't want to get my nose waxed live on air.
That would be disturbing.
It's got to be you. You've got the hairiest nose out of all 3 of us.
I get the hairiest nose out of anybody I've ever met, probably. And they're long. To get to the bottom of my serial sneer droop, they have to grow for months. Yeah, it would be a pretty wild ride, but at this point, it looks like I might win and won't have to do that.
Adam Scorgie was a guest today. We had Julian McKenzie. We had Joe Exotic. Today was a stacked show. Thank you to everyone that supports the sauce. Make sure you're liking this video, following along, sharing it with someone that maybe would enjoy it, that has never checked out the sauce before. We're just trying to grow this thing into a beast.
And the bigger we grow it, the more access we'll have to ridiculous guests like the Tiger King. So thank you very much for your support.
Yep.
And we will talk to you tomorrow. Stay saucy.
Love you.
Don't forget to like the video.
Please like the video.
So, thanks for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, like it, hype it, and share it with your friends.
And to not miss any of our content, make sure you're subscribing to the Oilers Nation YouTube channel.